Plenty of racing awaits this season. Find it all at mrc.racing.com.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Yes, good morning. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall on this Wednesday. It's the 3rd of December. It's a big hello to you listening on your local SEN track, RSN and SEN turf dials right throughout Victoria and Western Australia. Western Australia for the first hour anyway. It's a good morning to our friends in WA. It's 4 minutes past 5 there. And a big hello to you wherever you may be listening on your SEN app and the RSN app. And we are streaming every day live on the SEN app, our Facebook page and YouTube channel. All thanks to Bet365 because it's never ordinary when it is brought to you by Bet365. What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. Wednesday show, Fred Kersley will join us. Looking forward to catching up with Fred. He's got that ride on Ozapinko in the Group 1 Northerly Stakes there on Saturday. He rides for Chris Waller, of course. Northerly was trained by his famous grandfather, Fred Kersley. And we'll also have a chat about his career based here in Victoria, Fred. He's been kicking a few goals of late, so he's always a great chat. Paddy Lee will join us, the best trotter in the land, Kiang Sahara. He's heading up to Brisbane for that featured trotting race there at Albion Park on Saturday night, so we'll catch up with Paddy there. She's such an exciting horse. Adam White will join us to help us back a few winners in the cricket with that second test match starting there tomorrow afternoon in Brisbane in the Ashes. Dan O'Sullivan's looking to go back-to-back in the Ballarat Cup, his hometown cup, so he will join us. Jeff Goebbels is back. Of course, he will join us for Love It or Leave It. We've got plenty of topics to discuss there. We'll have a chat to Matty Reid with Tassie Time. I've never seen anyone tip any better than he did there last Friday night or last Wednesday? Last Wednesday. It was an unbelievable tipping performance, so we'll chat to Matty today. Jesse Gower from NZB. And then we've got the best from the West. So Darren McCauley will join us. We're doing our means test there for Western Australia just after 10 o'clock. We'll talk about all the big issues in the sport of racing across the 3 codes in WA. And we've got some big breaking news there as well. Denny Roberts will join us as well in that half an hour. She's the superstar harness racing driver from Western Australia. And they've got Minstrel, who's now the favourite with Bet365 for the WA Pacing Cup after his performance in the JP Stratton Cup, which was extraordinary there last Friday night. We'll find you plenty of winners with bag of tips. And, of course, we've got the weekly chase as we talk all things greyhound racing with Jason Adams and George Ferrugia. At 6 minutes past 8, let's get stuck into the show. Fred Kersley's about to join us in just a moment. Of course, he'll be riding Ozapinko there on Saturday afternoon. He's about a $16 chance now with Bet365 for that Group 1 Northerly Stakes. And he's also started to ride plenty of winners here in Victoria. Fred Kersley, he's just based in Melbourne, but he does a lot of riding for Lindsay Smith, his father-in-law, basically. And he's built up a relationship here with Chris Waller. And obviously he's had success with Chris Waller in the past, and now he gets his biggest opportunity for the country's best trainer there on Saturday in the Northerly Stakes. So looking forward to catching up with him. The big news overnight in WA is that Joker's Grin has a new rider. Sean O'Donnell will ride him now in the Group 1 or the Group 3 Gold Rush. Unfortunately, Patrick Carberry was suspended there in the Winterbottom last Saturday. And then Bernie Miller had to work out whether he thinks that Joker's Grin was right to push on. He had the vets that went out to him during the week, and obviously he was a little bit disappointed on what he saw there last Saturday in a Winterbottom Stakes, but they've decided to push on, which is exciting. So they're pushing on towards that Gold Rush. The Ballarat Cup meeting is coming up on Saturday. At the moment, the conditions say are on a soft 7, the rails and the true, but talking to the people in charge there in Ballarat yesterday, looks like we'll get a good 4, you would imagine. Pete Downs telling us yesterday we should be on a good 4 with the weather predicted during the week there at Ballarat for their biggest day. Fred Kersley now joins us here to kick off proceedings on Giddy Up on this Wednesday morning. Good morning to you, Fred.
Gareth, morning.
How are you, mate? Where are you these days? Did you enjoy your time in Perth, or are you still in Perth?
No, I'm actually at Lindsay Smith's in Geelong.
Okay.
A couple horses there.
Yep.
Time in Perth was good, and a bit of a shock with the weather getting back to Melbourne.
Yes, I know. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's shocking. But anyway, we'll be back to enjoy the sunshine in the west.
Of course, you've got Tempranillo today. You're riding there for Chris Waller. But can you just explain your association with Australia's leading trainer? Obviously, you get your biggest opportunity there on Saturday in a Group 1 Northerly Stakes on Ozapinko for Chris Waller on Saturday.
Yeah, quite exciting, and very much looking forward to it. The visitors' draw is no help.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not sure how it come about. I suppose just by being at Flemington and always helping out Chris, and one thing led to another, and I find myself quite frequently there for track work, helping out. But it's my second Group 1. I'll be riding in for Chris.
Okay.
And I think the first was a few years ago. So great to be back in those Group 1 races for champion trainer like Chris.
And Ozapinko is a horse that gets back anyway, but as you well know, that Northerly start is at your grandpa's place, basically, at Northerly Lodge. It starts close to a bend. You've only got, 100-odd metres before that first turn. So if you draw wide, you got to take your medicine in a way and go back.
Look, you can't be indecisive.
Yeah.
Where we get to in the run, I'm not sure as such yet. I haven't really had a chance to have a good look through. That'll be today and tomorrow. But yeah, there's no time for indecisiveness. A decision has to be made quite early. I think if it's a genuine run race, he's a tough, proven, wait-for-age horse. But I'd just like to see conditions run to help us in being a genuine run race.
Have you been on his back in WA?
I haven't. I'm quite keen to get over there on Friday and have a feel of him.
Yep.
From all reports, he's a pretty cruisy customer. You would appreciate if the track was a bit softer as well, as it appears. But look, he's winning the Little Dance of Super. And I think he's going to relish the 1800 at Ascot.
And he was pretty good, I reckon, in a railway stakes. Timmy Clark did make that move and he went forward. He was just caught 3 wide without cover and he wasn't beaten far. And that was from an awkward gate as well. So who's the horse to beat in your eyes there, Fred? Are you with the 3-year-old or do you think the railway stakes form is the best form here?
I'm with the 3-year-old. I think lightweight, and I think it's the right style of horse to be stepping up. You have to respect Western Empire, Watch Me Rock, Aprilia. It's obviously on a Perth Cup sort of campaign, so how it goes will be interesting. But it's probably another one that's going to need a genuine run race to really help it find the line. Yeah. I'd be leaning towards the 3-year-old.
What would it mean to you to win a Group 1 in your home state, especially a race like a Northerly Stakes with the race named after a horse which was so important to your family?
It'd be huge. Yeah. I haven't allowed myself to think that. There's plenty of water to go under the bridge first, and just trying to stomach barrier 17.
That's all right, Freddie.
Thought they might have looked after their first boy.
Yeah.
But no, it would mean a lot. Obviously, I've been trying to win a Group 1 for some time now. A lot of minor placings, but no, you got to have a lot of confidence riding one for Chris Waller, no matter the price and no matter the barrier. So be full of confidence headed towards Saturday.
Just get across, blow the whistle, and just say, "Let me in, lads." That's all you need to do, Junior.
Yeah, well, my manager Giddy told me I got suspended the other day, so he said
he
said best behaviour. He wants me to go back riding.
We want you to be safe.
Be keeping him straight and giving him room.
Yeah, and we want you to be safe, Fred. But if you got 2 weeks, I don't think Giddy would mind if you won your first Group 1. How is your relationship with Mark S going? Because we all know Giddy is the manager to the biggest name in racing, in James McDonald, but you've built up a strong relationship with him. In fact, James McDonald tells me Giddy gives you more time than he gives him these days.
Yeah, well, I'm I'm charity work. That's what I am. Compared to J-Mac. No, I guess he's good. He's an astute form man to have in my corner. I really value his opinion, and he's great for what he's been able to do for my career moving forward. And I think having a manager like that, it certainly can only help, add to the relationships with people like Chris Waller.
And how is Grandpa going in the legendary, the Hall of Famer, the one and the only Fred Kersley?
He's good. He's good, Fred. He's getting old,
Yeah.
but that hasn't slowed him down. He's still out for dinner 3-4 nights of the week, still training horses. This time around, he's probably breeding more than he's actually training and selling. So I told him he can't keep that habit of breeding him up for too long. But now he's going good. He's in good form, Fred.
You got any rides for him on Saturday?
I don't.
There you go.
Not sure why you won't put me on. But now I've got a nice enough ride for my uncle Greg Kersley in Me Augusto.
Yep.
Ran competitively there 2 weeks ago. It draws a nice gate and should get a good run.
And how's your father-in-law going, Uncle Lindsay? You're doing a lot of work for him, and you had success, of course, over the Flemington Carnival.
Yeah, that was super on Oaks Day. Lindsay's going along well, and it's been a real testing time. But Lindsay's in the midst of a real rebuilding phase, and for him to have two runners and 2 winners over the Flemington Carnival, it's quite important. But he's good. The horses coming through appear to be nice, so let's hope we can have a prosperous summer.
And you're happy with everything? How it's all travelling in Melbourne, Fred?
I am. The weather could be a little bit better.
Yeah.
I don't get homesick, but tell you, when you come back from Perth and it's 30 degrees and it's raining here, it's not ideal. But no, everything's going good, Gareth, and hopefully head down, bum up over the summer, and continue to ride well.
And Tempranillo goes around at Caulfield today. One for Chris Waller. Can you win this? Each way prize from an inside gate.
Inside gate's definitely a plus.
Yes.
I thought we had a good run in transit, beaten by a nice horse in Enchanted Jenny. Followed it throughout the run and just wasn't able to quicken up as good as it. Second go at the mile, soft draw is quite important. So knowing Chris's instructions will be comfortable early and help it find the line.
Well, you make sure Ozapinko's comfortable, get a 3-wide card up. Hopefully the wind helps you flash down the outside there on Saturday, and you get the job done there in the Northerly Stakes at Ascot, and you get your first Group 1. It would be fitting if your first Group 1 was in a Northerly Stakes, Fred, so we wish you the best of luck, mate.
It would be. Thank you, Gareth.
There's Fred Kersley there. So he's got one ride today at the Heat. Tempranillo is an each-way play, but his big ride there on Saturday in Ozapinko in the Northerly Stakes. Still plenty more to come. We'll catch up with Paddy Lee shortly, the co-trainer of the superstar trotter, Kiang Sahara, who heads to Brisbane on Saturday night. But the second test in the Ashes series will commence tomorrow afternoon at the Gabba. We need to find a few winners there in that second test. So we'll get the best cricket punter I know, and Adam White, who will join me in the studio straight after this.
Plenty of racing awaits this season. Find it all at mrc.racing.com.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. Paddy Lee's not far away. We'll also catch up with Dan O'Sullivan in this first hour. But while we've got an opportunity, Adam White, the greatest sporting punter I know, joins us here because he's about to host Waitley at 9 o'clock on 11:16. And we've got the second Ashes test starting in Brisbane tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock Eastern time. And, of course, we have the Australian Open Golf that kicks off in Melbourne tomorrow as well, where we've got Rory McIlroy, who is the best golfer to come to this country, well, the biggest name golfer to come to this country since Tiger Woods all those years ago. And I remember I was working at Channel 9, I reckon, when Tiger came, and we had the helicopters. Like when he arrived at the airport, as I say hello to you, Adam, we had the helicopters following him from the airport. I think he arrived at Essendon to the
He did.
to the Crown Towers where he was staying, and then his world unravelled pretty shortly after that.
It did indeed.
Yeah.
It did indeed.
Yeah.
I was
I don't know if
working-
it unravelled in Melbourne, did it?
It did.
It did, yeah.
Rachel Yucatel was the woman, and she was spotted in reception at Crown.
Oh, okay,
and
there.
the whole world unravelled. But it kind of emerged a couple of weeks later. But I was working for the ABC at the time when Tiger was there, and followed the fairways with him, and it was still one of my career highlights to do that. That was when Tiger was, clearly near his absolute best, and it totally took over the city for the week.
Bet365 market in the cricket. It's going to be interesting because it was a funny test match in Perth. For the majority of the game, if you went and said, like, in the AFL, you say, how many quarters did you win? They won more sessions than the Australians, and the Australians blew them away in a quarter of football, basically.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, look, I think the exciting thing from a betting perspective when England is playing, it's a little bit like a T20 match, Gareth. I like betting on T20 cricket because you get these massive fluctuations. So if you're clever with it, you can set up yourself with a really nice book where you've got both teams going for a nice price. And if you look through that first match, at times England were a strong favourite but just couldn't sustain it for long enough. So I think when you look at this market at the moment in Brisbane for the second test starting tomorrow, you've got Australia $1.53, England $3, the draw at $15. That's at Bet365.
Yeah.
You have to have a few dollars on England at that price on the basis that, as I just said, at some point during the first couple of days, even probably the first couple of sessions, England is going to be a lot shorter than that $3 mark.
Yeah. So who wins?
Who wins? I think at the end of the day, I'm with Australia because I think what England does is exciting, but it's not sustainable. And Australia will just sort of stay in the game long enough to find that they'll be on top by the end. But as I said, I think at times, like the first test, England will be in front. My concern with England is I just don't think they bat well enough to be able to score enough runs to beat Australia. Yeah. And I think we saw that in Perth. There were times where it looked like England was going to take the game away from Australia, but because of the method, they just give too many chances. So what you get in Brisbane is you get a pink ball, day-night test cricket. If we thought it went fast forward in Perth, it's going to go even faster in Brisbane.
Yeah.
So I think under those circumstances, I'm backing Australia's bowlers in to be able to get the job done against England's batters. Australia are vulnerable, very, very vulnerable, particularly with the bat. And I've said this on SEN, I'd like to see Australia strengthen its batting and actually have Webster come in and bat at 7 and push Carey down to 8, just to give them a little bit more of an insurance policy there, because Travis Head's not going to work every time. In fact, he's going to work probably 20% of the time opening the batting the way he did in Perth. But one thing we've got to remember from a betting perspective here is that Australia were dismissed for 129 in the first innings. Yeah. So they are vulnerable, and that's why I think, at least from a betting purpose situation, betting point of view, England at $3 is over the odds.
So if I gave you $100, what are you doing with it?
I'd be having 30 on England now and keeping my 70 to have a bet again at some point. And that's not sitting on the fence. That's how you should bet when when it's Test cricket, because you've got to bet live. You've got to find your moments to bet where you see value, where you're looking at the next 2 hours and sort of predicting what's going to happen in that period of time.
Do you know what I'm doing? I'm having a same game multi every match here. I'm having England to win, and then I'm having for man of the match, Crawley, because I think one game. Because usually he makes a duck, or he makes 100, and it's in spectacular fashion, and England win. So I back him in to have a game where he wins it for England.
Okay, so I understand what you're saying. So you give me $100. I'm going to have $30 on England at $3 just to play, and then have $20 on Mitchell Starc to be player of the match at $9.
Yeah.
So I've got that going as well, and I've still got half my stake to have a look at through the time. But in Test cricket, it's very rare that I would bet on something less than $1.80 in the run.
Usually the best golfer doesn't win. That's a stupid comment. But when they come and play internationally, especially when they come to Australia...
Yeah, we can't bet on Rory McIlroy this week. So Rory's the favourite at $5.40 at Bet365. He's never seen the golf course until this week. He's never played a tournament on the sandbelt.
Yeah.
So you can't be betting on him at that price. He's playing very, very well. If you look at what he's done over his last couple of events in Europe before coming down here, he's in excellent form, but you can't have him. Now, you might get to Sunday and he's 3 off the lead and he's $4.50. You might do that, but I want to see him over the first couple of days before I'm betting on him. I'm going to give you a couple at value here. My top pick for the Australian Open is actually Lucas Herbert this week.
Okay.
So Lucas Herbert is $38. He's a Bendigo boy, but grown up playing pennant on the sandbelt, knows all the sandbelt courses extremely well. $38 is a massive price for someone that's played pretty well on the Live Tour throughout the course of the year. And then 2 others at even bigger prices. David Micheluzzi is $141 to win, but have a look at him for things like make the cut.
David Micheluzzi.
Yep. So
Never heard of him.
David Micheluzzi has grown up on the sandbelt.
Beautiful.
$141, plays on the European Tour. Have a look at him for top 20, make the cut, that sort of thing, and maybe a couple of dollars on him to win the whole thing. And the best of the overseas contenders, I think at a really good price, is a guy called Bernd Weisberger at $101. Again, so I'm giving you those names, not necessarily to win, but having a look at top 5, top 10, top 20, that sort of thing. My pick last week was Daniel Hillier from New Zealand.
Yes.
$5.50 to finish top 5. The great thing about golf is you don't have to have them to win.
No.
You can have them at top 10, top 20s and look for players where you get a really good price. And I think that's the way to go. Of the big names, Adam Scott, I think he's the best chance. He's played well at Royal Melbourne previously in a Heineken Classic. He's $18.
Love your work, Whitey. We better let you go. You've got to be on Waitley in half an hour's
Thanks,
time.
Gareth.
But
Good
we
talking to
appreciate you coming on Giddy Up.
Anytime.
I like the value there with the golf. I'm going to back all of those players top 10, and I'm going to have $1 on them to win.
See how we go.
And Micheluzzi is going to be my all-time favourite player now.
Okay.
David Micheluzzi at
He's
$140
a very big
to 1.
price. He played terribly last week, but he's back on the sandbelt, which he knows. You want players. It's like horses. If you know that a particular horse loves a particular track, you tend to go that way.
Love your work, Whitey. Thanks for that. It's 8:30. That was Adam White joining us, going through the markets there for the Australian Open golf for the second Ashes Test in Brisbane. What's going to be a big day of sport tomorrow. I'll be jumping out of bed and can't wait to get stuck into it. So we'll take a break. We'll come back with Paddy Lee next.
Good morning, making SEN News headlines. New home approvals fell 6.4% in October, according to new data. The Albanese government is well behind its 1.2 million new homes before 2030 target by more than 70,000 homes. Australian man Lamar Archie has likely avoided the death penalty in Bali after prosecutors dropped the most serious drug trafficking charges against him. A new research has revealed teenagers lack awareness of the risks of tanning, with a quarter of 12 to 17-year-olds believe believing a suntan will protect them from skin cancer. Up next, sen.com.au sport. In Sam Kerr's return to the national side 2 years after rupturing her ACL has seen the Matildas down New Zealand 2-0 in their second international friendly, with goals from Alana Kennedy and Hayley Razzo. And Bo Webster and Josh Inglis will be considered for a call-up to the Aussie side for the second Ashes test starting tomorrow at the Gabba. Usman Khawaja is ruled out with a back injury.
Plenty of racing awaits this season. Find it all at mrc.racing.com.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
5 metres in front of Kiang Levita, then came Penny and Maori's Mac, but into the straight, it's Kiang Zahara pulling away, and she's still in a minor gear. Galloping there was Kiang Levita, but it's all Kiang Zahara, and she's racing clear, unextended to win by about 18 metres. Kiang Zahara
She's the biggest
first.
name, I reckon,
Maori's
in
Mac
the trotting game. Or probably behind Leap to Fame, but just Kihang Sahara. She's so exciting. She's only been beaten once. I reckon she's the best trotter in this country. I reckon she could go onto the world stage maybe one day and head to Sweden and compete in an elite lop and be ultra competitive. She is untapped, and she heads to Brisbane on Saturday night for that Group 1 feature there, where she is the dominant favourite in the trotting feature at Group 3 level. In fact, it's Group 1 level. It's called the Great Square, and she's drawn barrier number 9. She'll start $1.30, $1.20. And co-trainer Paddy Lee joins me. Hello to you, Paddy.
Good morning, G. How are you?
Good, thank you. So you couldn't get a flight with your two trotters in Kiang Levita and Kiang Sahara, so they're on the road as we speak. Is that right?
Yeah, we were trying as hard as we could, G, to try and find the right flight to fit, but it just couldn't work in our favour. So Connections sat down and made a pretty quick decision that they just decided that they'd try and get on the road a little bit earlier and stop off at Sydney for a couple of days and then head on to Queensland and try and just break the trip up a little bit that way.
And how's she travelled so far?
Yeah, Matt Orsenal and Uncle Harry have headed up with her, and they settled in at Sydney for 24 hours there now, and they seem like they said she's really good and nice and bright in herself, and it's lovely complex there at Rixon, so horses always settle in really well there, and they'll pack up tonight and head on up to Queensland.
The only trouble that you really had with her is when she didn't travel up to Sydney at her last preparation. Do you think she's more mature now and she seems to be handling the travel a little bit better?
Well, it's a funny one, that, G, because she travelled to Sydney through the Oaks and Derby sort of 5 months before that, and handled it no worries. And then, she went across to New Zealand and was terrific there and handled that no worries at all. So we're just sort of putting it down to maybe just a once-off, hopefully that it was something that annoyed her or occurred throughout those travels. But, I guess you don't know until you try it again. And with the money that's on offer there in Queensland, and in the end it was probably just too hard to not get on the road and go and have a crack at it.
So she's had 20 starts for 19 wins. She's only been beaten once, and that was 5 starts back there at Menangle when she went pretty good still. She wins on Saturday night. She just goes past $850,000 in prize money. She's building up some record there, Paddy, and she's got all of the major races coming her way during the summer here in Victoria when she's probably a short price favourite, not just to clean sweep all of the features, but there's a $500,000 bonus on top of that if she can achieve, 3 victories, including the Great Southern Star.
Yeah, 100%. You sort of pinch yourself every day that a horse like that comes along. But, it's just probably, one of those things that you just try and keep her in one piece and hopefully, the world at her feet, she can just keep going on her winning way. But, as she gets on, she's going to race some really nice trotters through that series, and she's still got to get over Saturday night's run too. There's some quality horses in that field, and hopefully we can get her back and have a crack at that bonus. It'd be wonderful if we could pull it off. But I know with the Great Southern Star being added into that, I know how hard they are to win. So it's going to be almighty hard to overcome. But if any horse is probably going to do it in our stable, she'd be the one to give it a red-hot crack.
So the Great Southern Star is the concept where you race twice in a night, and then you race in the heat, you qualify for the final, and then hopefully win the final. Do you think she'll love that format?
Yeah, I think she really relished the format. And, a lot of our training, a lot of the time, they sort of do a little bit of heat work, and they're used to the sort of concept that has the 2 heats on the one night into the final. But at the same time, you don't know until she's experienced it and been through it. But she's a tough-minded mare, and be interesting to see how she goes when she comes across that hurdle.
Are you starting to dream to one day go to Sweden?
You always, it comes across your mind, and I know everyone at home's sort of said and it's come up in talks, but we've got to prove ourselves at open level first and make sure that she's in a good frame of mind and had some solid, open class racing under her belt before you go and take on a hurdle like that. And at the same time, she's got to make sure she's fully proven herself to go and do that.
So if she wins a Great Southern Star, would you go next year or would you wait for another year?
Oh, I think maybe if she had some good quality racing under her belt throughout next year, it'd definitely sort of season her to probably go the following year.
Yes.
But at the same time, the locomotive and those horses are going to be around. So she's got some high quality opposition that she's sort of got to take on and be selected to go and represent. So we're not getting too ahead of ourselves. We know, she'd be more than capable of being a horse selected to go and give it a crack, but she's got some racing here that she's got to prove herself that she's well and truly up to it before we go and do it.
Any winners this week outside of the champ?
I don't think so, G. I think maybe a little bit quieter of a week this week, and look to try and find you one for the following week, but nothing. I got Jillaby Sniper up for you, and
you did
there the other day. So
it was $2.30 into $1.30, and within 30 seconds, they tell me, when the market's open. So you had to be quick. Kiang Baslenka will win at Bendigo tomorrow night. There you go. It'll sit on Howdy Mate's back and go whooshka.
Oh, tonight. Yeah, I forgot about him. Howdy Mate's a well-respected trotter, and they battled it out in the sires. But, Howdy Mate had a really tough run that night, and they're probably drawn alongside each other. But it's only a heat tonight too, so just probably got to make sure you qualify into the final as well.
Good on you, Paddy. Good luck with the Superstar Mare on Saturday night in Brisbane, and what a night there for harness racing fans in the Sunshine State. You got Leap to Fame, who's the best pacer. I know Kingman's knocking on the door, but he's still the king in a way, even though that I say maybe Kingman is the new king after beating him twice in a row, and that run was unbelievable in a New Zealand Cup, but he's still Leap to Fame. He's still the greatest pacer that I've ever seen, and you've got maybe the greatest trotting horse that I've ever seen in Kiang Sahara. She's still got a little bit to do, but she's heading up there on Saturday night. So from a superstar point of view, it doesn't get any better there in Brisbane on Saturday night, Paddy. You enjoy yourself, mate. Thanks for that.
No worries, G. Keep it real.
Time for a break. Dan O'Sullivan, who's looking to go back-to-back in the Ballarat Cup on Saturday, will join us.
Plenty of racing awaits this season. Find it all at mrc.racing.com.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Poison Chalice, Future History, Barclay Square down the outside. Lady in Pink, the mare of the race, going up to Globe. Globe not lying down. Barclay Square's coming. Barclay Square's lifting out of the ground. Barclay Square did it. Ballarat won't be sleeping tonight. Barclay Square.
Yeah, it was a
won
big
from
roar
in
of Ballarat when Dan O'Sullivan's Barclay Square got the cash in the Ballarat Cup. He'll turn up this weekend trying to defend his title, and Dan joins us now. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, Gareth. How are you going?
Good, thanks, mate. It was a big day last year, and it was a big effort by Barclay Square.
Yeah, no, it was a great day. It's good to hear that call again, and it was good that we had our trainers' marquees back up for the first time for a few years, and even the only local horse in the race. Charlie Kennedy's first listed and her 100th winner on the day, and I'm probably her favourite horse. So, no, it was a big day around for everybody.
Could you say he's in better form this year than he was last year?
He's going at least as good. He just had one against last year. He's probably done his thing, and because of his consistency, he doesn't come down in his ratings much. He's been racing at a really good level with high weight, so I think he's been going just as good.
Yeah, I thought his run at Flemington there, it was trying conditions that day in the Queen Elizabeth, but he never gave up that fight there. And before that, he was good in a Geelong Cup.
Yeah, for sure. And Geelong Cup form was strong. As you say, that wet day, he just, he got back further than what we would have liked, but he still, he maintained a good gallop to the line without ever looking like a winning chance. And we've had a really good month in between now and then, and back to 2,000 metres, which we did last year, off only a week's turnaround. So he's nice and fresh, and his work's been exactly what we want him to do. So I'm sure he'll run well again. Just interested to see what barrier draw we get. Yeah.
So why didn't you go to Caulfield last week and follow the same program that you did when you won the Cup last year?
Well, it was a pretty taxing run that day at Flemington.
Yeah.
And also, he's never been as good at Caulfield as he has on the big tracks.
Yeah.
So had the zipping been at Sandown, we would have really given it some good thought. But because it was at Caulfield, we thought we'll just freshen up and go to the Ballarat Cup again one more time, because he's had a bit of racing this on him.
Yeah. We heard Jayla Kennedy on racing.com there yesterday. She looks like she's in really good spirits there, Dan.
Yeah, no, she's in good spirits. Yeah, she's in good. She's she's just here this morning helping me out and doing a few videos and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
1 second, Gareth. 1 second.
Yeah, that's all right. Trainers.
Instructions.
Yeah, that's good, mate. Hey, you can. This is what we love on a morning here, because obviously trainers they're so good talking to us, but this is their busiest time of the morning, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, there's always something going on around you that you got to just throw a little curveball and so on, and anyway, it's all good, under control again.
And so Jayla's obviously had a few injuries, and but she seems to be in good spirits.
Yeah, as I say, she was here this morning, been helping me out a little bit over this week. She's starting to get getting a bit touchy about getting back riding, but she's starting to feel a lot better. But she's got to be right before she starts back, because if she does something that really sends the injury backwards, or she'll just be so. She's pretty tough on herself anyway, so if she did something like that set her back, she'd be pretty dirty on herself. Yeah.
What about Ballarat on Saturday, mate? Hopefully there's a big crowd there. Looks like the trainers get right behind it, and there's such a big community there. A bit like Cranbourne last week. There's a big community of Victorian trainers now based at Ballarat.
Yeah, it was good, because we hadn't had our marquees there for a little while since COVID come through. And
yeah.
It was good to get them back, and we'd had no luck with the weather either. The previous few years have been shocking weather, and we got a beautiful day and a good crowd, and everyone had a good time. And as I say, it was good. It was my horse. It was also good to have a local horse win the race. So
yeah,
and through the spring carnival, through the Oaks and the Cups horses, have been getting Ballarat back on the map a little bit. So
yeah,
we'll get along pretty well, and hopefully have a good day on Saturday.
The big question: has there been any Ballarat trainers there this week after Calvin McAvoy's wedding there on Sunday?
Been dribs and drabs coming back in slowly. There's been a few short appearances, a few stories getting told, and how did you get home and what time did you get home and all that sort of stuff. So it was a very good wedding, and they do things well. So it was a good day, and I hope Terry knows what she's in for.
Yes, and Simon Morrison, he behaved, because he's been like he's obviously trained Count Chivers to finish second in a Melbourne Cup in 1996. But now, since the racing blogger, he's become one of the biggest names in racing these days, and he's been everywhere. And of course, he's on the committee.
Do you reckon his story of Count Chivers in the Melbourne Cup would have get a bit more mayo put on over the last few weeks?
Yes.
It would have been a good thing to beat him a few times. But he's certainly he's shown a great example of what it's like to retire from racehorse training. You know, it makes he's had a whole new outlook on life.
Yeah, he hasn't stopped. He told me when he was talking about Count Chivers that he got beaten in a photo finish, and I said, mate, Saintly was my favourite horse. You were about 3 or 4 lengths off him, but
that's right. Yeah.
We'll just say it's a photo finish anyway. But no, it's going to be a lot of fun, mate. We wish you the best of luck there with Berkeley Square, and go and get them. Go and defend that Ballarat Cup title.
We'll certainly give it our best shot, Gareth.
Good on you, Dan O'Sullivan. He's one of the good guys of racing, and he's done a great job with Berkeley Square and just needs a gate, and I reckon he's a big chance there come Saturday. Hey, we'll take a break. We'll wrap up this first hour here on Giddy Up.
Plenty of racing awaits this season. Find it all at mrc.racing.com.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. Gareth Hall with your thanks to Bet365. A few text messages coming through. No, you were right. That's where I stuffed up my story with Simon Morris. I was talking about Count Chivas finishing second in that Melbourne Cup, and he went along with it. He didn't even tell me that Lee Freeman trained it. He goes, yeah, that's right. And then I worked out he did, like he trained it after Lee Freeman and he finished down the track at Flemington. But, yeah, it was a good story anyway. Now, just on a sad note, harness racing lost one of its great guys, based at Charlton, Joey Thompson, who sadly passed away. Joey Thompson was a great man. He was great for harness racing, especially around the Mallee, North Central area. He had vision like no other, I reckon, especially in that part of the world. He did a wonderful job for the sport of harness racing. He helped set up that training complex in Charlton. And more importantly, he was just a bloody good guy. He loved the sport. He loved the people. And he brought people together, Joey Thompson, and he was one of my favourite people. And I'm thinking of the Thompson family and his many friends and family around the Charlton area and the surrounding area there of Charlton, and the many people that he knew in the sport of harness racing. And we lost a really good one. Our thoughts with Joey Thompson and the family there. It's quickly approaching 9 o'clock on the other side of it. Jeff Goebbels will join me for Love It or Leave It. It's back as we nearly wrap up the year here on Giddy Up. So looking forward to catching up with Jeff. He's been on fire, the Married at First Sight superstar, when it comes to his tipping. So we'll catch up with Jeff and see what's been catching his eye in the sport of thoroughbred racing straight after 9 o'clock, and then we'll find you plenty of winners a little later today with Bag of Tips. And there's some great racing right across the country with those Metro Wednesday tracks. Don't go anywhere. This is Giddy Up.
Good morning, I'm Nath Gardner with SEN News. New home approvals fell 6.4% in October, according to ABS data. The Albanese government is behind by over 70,000 of its 1.2 million new homes before 2030 target. But Minister for Housing, Claire O'Neill, insisting on 7, they've found some positives in the data.
The commencements data, that is that new homes that started this month compared to last year, are up 9%, and we are making real progress here.
In WA, the state's electoral commissioner has quit 9 months after a problem-plagued state election. Robert Kennedy handed in his resignation yesterday after an independent inquiry into the poll revealed a range of issues. There were long wait times and shortages of ballot papers. 24 recommendations to prevent future polling bungles have been handed down. It's been an hours-long standoff between police and a man in Adelaide's northern suburbs. Police say he smashed a counter inside a fast food restaurant in Mawson Lakes with a tyre lever before stealing food. He was arrested later at a Parafield Gardens home after negotiations with officers, with a search of his home uncovering several weapons. MPs in the UK will investigate the royal family's property portfolio after revelations Andrew Mountbatten Windsor had not paid rent for 2 decades, sparking outrage. And AFL is booming in Queensland, with more people in the Sunshine State playing Aussie rules now than South Australia, credited by the success of the Brisbane Lions. Coming up, SEN Sport. Travis Head is expected to move up to opener for the second Ashes Test starting tomorrow at the Gabba after Usman Khawaja was ruled out with a back injury. Former England player Stuart Broad has told Seven it's bad news for the visitors.
We don't know who's going to come in and bat 5 yet, but I think it does strengthen the Aussies and it sort of brings back those sort of old scars really for England for what Travis Head did to them.
Plenty of racing awaits this season. Find it all at mrc.racing.com.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up on this Wednesday morning. It's the 3rd of December. Big hour coming your way. Jeff Goebbels will join me for Love It or Leave It. Looking forward to catching up with Jeff. Tassie time with Matty Reid, who delivered one of the greatest ever masterclasses when it comes to tipping last Wednesday. It was an extraordinary effort. He had 7 of 8 winners, including his best value that won at $13 to kick off proceedings. And then just after 10 o'clock, we've got the best from the West, where Darren McCauley will join me for the West Means test, and Denny Roberts will also join us there. Denny, of course, taking out the big race on Friday night at Gloucester Park, the JP Stratton Cup. And then we'll find you some winners with bag of tips just after 10:30 this morning. And there's some great racing right across the country today as we go racing on the heat track at Caulfield, Warwick Farm, Ipswich in Queensland, Belmont in Western Australia, Balaclava in South Australia. And we've got that meeting at Launceston tonight. 4 minutes past 9. Let's welcome in Jeff Goebbels on this Wednesday morning. G'day, Jeffrey.
Hey, G. How are you, mate?
Good, thank you, mate. How's your week been?
Week's been good, mate. Just on the tools. It's just pretty normal for me at the moment.
So you're a Married at First Sight star that does your own cooking program. I see you doing your tipping now when it comes to the racing, and you're still on the tools. So, and you're a fitness freak. So where do you get enough time to sleep?
Oh, well, 5 to 6 hours usually does the job, but yeah, hopefully I can get off the tools sooner rather than later. But yeah, all the other stuff's great. I mean, I do a lot of it because I love it.
Yeah.
I don't look at it like it's a chore. Like, I love horse racing, I love cooking, so as long as I have enough time to do it, I'll do it.
So I want to have a chat to you about the social media situation with racing. Obviously, bloggers came here and made Racing Blogger. It made quite an impact in this state over the last 6 weeks or so during the carnival. And you see the younger generation, especially sometimes on our social media platforms as well, they enjoy the shorter versions of the racing content. How do you see all of that? Because obviously with your fame now for Married at First Sight, you've got over 100-odd followers there on social media. So how do you see racing space with social media, which plays such an important part in today's world, getting the next generation of racing people and racing fans?
Oh, 100%. I think there is a huge gap in that space with the social media side. And like I've mentioned a lot of times when I've come on the show, racing is getting younger and a lot of young people are getting involved and they love it. But I guess the thing with young people is they've got a short attention span and they love the short format. So, when they see a quick 30-second video on Instagram about some horse tips and stuff, they sort of engage with that. Whereas they don't really listen to long format podcasts anymore. They just want it instantly. So that's what I'm sort of trying to get into now. And the tips have been going well, but I've had a couple of stinkers. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. How do you think racing is going, getting the new generation into the sport?
Oh, racing's going great for the younger generation. Like, you can see what's all the new concepts that are coming out. Like, look at Tab Everest in the last 3-4 years. What they've done up there, it's like a festival atmosphere. Some stuff down here in Victoria is starting to be implemented too. I think racing's in a great spot. The young punters are coming through the gates, and I think it's in a really good position.
I think the carnival that they had, especially in Victoria and Sydney on Everest Day, but from a whole carnival perspective in Victoria, from the Caulfield Cup Carnival where it was packed out, you couldn't move. Moonee Valley was sensational, and of course Flemington had 4 wonderful days. It's one of the best Flemington carnivals I can recall for quite some time, and for different reasons as well. So you just got to need to build on that momentum, especially as you go into the autumn, which can always be challenging in Melbourne and in Sydney as well.
I feel like, the autumn is building, but, you get the spring that comes to an end and then people are waiting for the autumn. So, it's like, I guess it's like the footy season. The footy season finishes, you're in the pre-season, you're waiting for it to start again. So I feel like, people are excited for the autumn and it's going to be bigger and better every single year it rolls around.
Do you think that the carnival finishes where it needs to be finished, or would you push it back a little bit? It does sort of like it probably ended there last Saturday with the Sipping Classic. But I reckon it's hard after the Flemington Carnival. That's like us racing fans love to continue on with it. But then it gets a little difficult, I reckon, to continue that momentum because people think, I reckon, after Flemington finishes, that's it.
Yeah, and to be honest, until I sort of heavily got involved in horse racing, I thought that. So, you can see why it does drop off. I guess the general public would think the same thing. So, but yeah, I do think it's the length of time is right.
Yeah.
Maybe if anything, it could be shortened a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But I think it's in a good spot.
I don't mind what happened at Caulfield the last week or so, or last month or so, when you had those two meetings. I enjoyed the All Stakes where we got to see Jimmy Starr turn up at the races, one of the superstars of the sport. Then you go to Cranbourne, back to Caulfield for a Sipping Classic, and it was a good meeting, I reckon, there on Saturday. And then Ballarat gets centre stage. So I think it works nicely. And then you've got other races around the country. Like I think on Saturday week, well, you do have the Ingham worth $2 million. They've been to Newcastle and Kemmler Grange. And I was in Perth last week, and racing in WA from an attendance point of view is flying at the moment. Like they're getting good crowds there for their pinnacles, and it was a terrific Winterbottom Stakes there last Saturday. Overpass, unfortunately for you, got beat in one of the upsets there, or was a big upset there with Libertad defeating Overpass, but it was still a terrific race.
No, it was great, and yeah, I think the people over in WA, and I can speak because I grew up in Western Australia.
Yeah.
You're starved of great horse racing, and you only get a couple of meetings to make up for it. So, it's good to see them turning out, and hopefully maybe they can grow it a bit more and get another sort of couple of feature races.
Yeah. Are you loving it or leaving it? Overpass heading towards a gold rush.
Oh, I'm loving it.
Yeah.
You send a horse over west, you want to win something big. So I'm loving that.
There's a long way to go, really. So you've got Overpass now, who's the second favourite. 1,400 metres is the big question mark for mine. Like they like to keep him fresh, and that's when he races best. And that's what they did heading into a Winterbottom Stakes. And now they're going to back him up in 2 weeks, and they're going to step him out to 1,400 metres. I would take him on every day of the week.
Oh, I'll definitely take him on.
Yeah,
I like how he's going to it, but he'd want to switch off pretty early in the race and get a couple of cheap furlongs, that's for sure.
So you got Ray McNero that'll go there as well. Joker's Grin's been confirmed, so he'll head towards the Gold Rush. Sean O'Donnell's the new rider after Patrick Carberry was suspended there last Saturday in the Winterbottom Stakes. And then you get all of these runners coming from the Northerly to the Gold Rush. So that adds a little bit of extra interest into a race like that.
Who have we got as favourite for that?
We've got Rope the Men, who was third or fourth. He was fourth in a Winterbottom.
Yep.
He's the local horse that was being set for this race. Like he's the horse that I think Steve Wolf and the Connections identified that this is the race for him.
Mm-hmm.
So they've been able to use like a Winterbottom, even though he was ready to run well, as a lead-up race towards a Gold Rush, because that 1,400 metres is his sweet spot, where a few of the others like Ray and Overpass and Western Empire and maybe Watch Me Rock, they've had a few grand finals identifying maybe a Northerly would be their better chance, or a Railway for glory during the Pinnacles. So they try and, bring them back and see how they go over the 1,400.
See if they can peak 3 times.
What's your favourite race in Carnival?
Oh, the Melbourne Cup Carnivals, that's definitely the best.
Yeah.
Calling myself a Victorian now, I love it. That's the one I look forward to. Unfortunately, I was in New York this year, so I missed it. But it's one of the great few days of racing. I think no other carnival matches it really.
Yeah,
anyway.
I agree with you. They're outside of Flemington.
I love the Magic Millions.
Yeah.
In terms of the racetrack, it could probably do with a little revamp.
We just got to hope that we're racing on the Gold Coast this week, because usually you can. I don't want to jinx them, but hopefully nothing goes wrong, because previous years,
shocking.
I feel sorry for them. Like there's always something going wrong, and it took the cake last year when. I don't know what happened to the racetrack. There was different stories that you were hearing, but something happened to it, and they had to
turf was moving or something.
They had to. Someone vandalised it, and they had to postpone or move the meeting to the Sunshine Coast, and then there was all types of drama there.
Disaster.
Anyway, it was a complete disaster.
And also for the people flying up, because I went up for it the original day.
Yep.
And then you book your hotel, your flights, and then I went. I think it was 2 races raced, and then that was it.
So, what do you love about the Gold Coast?
Oh, I love the whole week in totality. I love going to the sales. I look to buy one here and there, but it's just a good place to be. It's a good atmosphere. You got the bar at the back, people having a punt, and it's especially being in racing like yourself. You go there and you always just run into 15, 20 people and you stop and have a beer and a chat. It's just a really really cool week. And but it's changed a bit. I remember the first time I went, there was like a huge party on every night. I think it was like 2 a.m. finish for 7 days straight. And then it's slowly sort of becoming a bit more chilled, which is nice.
I love Karaka. I love New Zealand's carnival because that their race day, I reckon, is something else. Like the Magic Millions is a great race day as well, but New Zealand's got 6 races. Players' comfort's probably a little bit better in Auckland compared to the Gold Coast at that type of time of the year, and the sale's always interesting. So I think they're both great carnivals, and it adds a lot when you've got a race meeting, especially like we might get offered a horse, but we're only going to take a small percentage, aren't we? But so I find the sales interesting, but the race day just the interest there that provides a week like that, and the Gold Coast, to their credit, their racing week when they've got the slot race the week before their Magic Millions day is brilliant now. So, and it's not just the sales and the race meeting. It's got the polo on the Sunday and the different events that they've got during that week. So they've made it into an event.
Yeah,
basically,
it's a cracker. It's so good. Yeah, like the one and they have the race on the beach. Like it is such a really good. It is such a good week. And if you've never been there, I'd advise to get there. It's unreal.
And it's just it's the perfect example for, and I know that the Harveys have got like deeper pockets than most, but it's the perfect example how you can make a week of racing and make it into a carnival and have event after event and think outside the square and have different events outside of the main dances like the sale and the race meeting, and that's how you can attract new people to the sport as well. Because I know people who don't really care much about racing, but they turn up for the carnival because of what you can do in that week on the Gold Coast. Don't go anywhere. It's 15 minutes past 9. This is Gareth Hall and Jeff Goebbels here on Giddy Up on this Wednesday morning. We'll come back with plenty more next.
Plenty of racing awaits this season. Find it all at mrc.racing.com.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up, 21 minutes past 9. Jeff Goebel's with me on this Wednesday morning. The news coming through from Racing New South Wales. Due to the forecast of extreme heat for Rose Hill Gardens this Saturday, the meeting has been put back one day to Sunday, where more favourable conditions are expected. This morning's acceptance deadline will remain at 9 a.m, with final fields now being processed. So that is interesting. So there was Gay Waterhouse was a little critical of that, making a decision this early on because there's a lot can change regarding the weather before Saturday. And some say, well, it's good they're on the front foot Racing New South Wales and they're giving participants enough time to sort out what they need to do to make sure that they can prepare their horses for that Sunday now instead of the Saturday. So
I don't mind it. I'd rather know early.
yeah. The problem is what happens there is that it's not as hot as that they think it is.
Never is.
Yeah. And then they get to Saturday and we're twiddling our thumbs and thinking, well, we could be racing in Sydney on Saturday. True. But Peter Volandis is a smart man and he would have made this decision. And obviously they've thought about it because, of course they've thought about it, but it is a big move to move a metro meeting from a Saturday to Sunday. It will cost them thousands with a loss in turnover
100%.
because obviously Saturday afternoon is the day that everyone is punting. So yeah, that's the decision there from Racing New South Wales. They've moved it from Sunday to they're moving it to Sunday from Saturday because of the heat. So there you go. That's the news that just broke about 5 minutes or so. I wanted to get your best sprinter, stayer, middle distance horse in this country at the moment.
Oh, I love this. Well, sprinter, obviously we know Kaying Rising is definitely the best sprinter, but if I had to choose one right now, I would probably go with Tempted. 3-year-old filly, one length off Kaying in the Everest. I think plenty of upside. That's who I'd probably go with at the moment, Tempted.
Tempted. And then best stayer?
Oh, stayer.
Half yours.
Yeah, you'd have to go with half yours. I mean, Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup double. You know, not many horses do it, so there's no real argument there. Like, I think that's just a clear pick.
Yeah, and the best middle distance horse?
Oh, Autumn Glow.
Yeah. Over Via Sistina?
I think Via obviously won the Cox Plate, but, you know, you'd say that she's probably past her best.
Yeah.
So, Autumn Glow, undefeated. So much upside, it's ridiculous. Hasn't lost a race. Now a Group 1 winner. I think next year is just going to be her year.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see how it all works out, I reckon.
Who would you go with?
Right now, like Charbel has to come into that conversation. I reckon if you had to have a crystal ball and predict who will be the best middle distance horse next autumn, Autumn Glow is definitely the X factor. I'm probably still with Via Sistina.
Really?
Even though she'll be rising 9. But she's only an 8-year-old from a European perspective, and that's where she was born. So I would say Via Sistina. On the big stage, she gets the job done. The best sprinter, without a doubt, for me is Jimmy Starr. Even though that they might tinker going to 1,600 metres with him. And then the best day, of course, is Half Yours. He'll be mighty hard to beat wherever he goes. The horse that I'd love to own right now, if I could pick one horse in world racing, it would be Romantic Warrior.
Oh, freak.
Yep. Only because he can compete, say, and try and win his 4th Hong Kong Cup.
Yep.
And then he can go to Saudi on the dirt and try and win a $20 million race.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
How old's Romantic Warrior?
This would be his last season. He's a 7-year-old.
So you just cash in for the last year.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. All right then, mate. 24 minutes past 9. Do you have a winner for us?
Oh, what, for today?
Yeah, today or this weekend.
I've got one of my horses is running today. It didn't have any luck. Didn't have any luck last start. Cavallo Rapante.
Yes.
I'm not sure what race it is, but it's at 6 p.m.
I see you tipping one of your own horses.
I'm tipping one of my own. I think she can. Put it this way. It's make or break today.
Yeah.
I think it's the last chance. So I think she's a sneaky chance at odds.
All right, then. We'll have something each way. Enjoy your day and we'll catch up with you next week.
Done, mate. Cheers.
There's Jeff Goebels there. It's 25 minutes past 9. We'll take the news and we'll come back with a few winners next.
Good morning, making SEN News headlines. New home approvals fell 6.4% in October, according to new data. The Albanese government is well behind its 1.2 million new homes before 2030 target by more than 70,000 homes. Australian man Lamar Archie has likely avoided the death penalty in Bali after prosecutors dropped the most serious drug trafficking charges against him. And new research has revealed teenagers lack awareness of the risks of tanning, with a quarter of 12 to 17-year-olds believing a suntan will protect them from skin cancer. Up next, sen.com.au sport. Travis Head is expected to move up to opener for the second Ashes test starting tomorrow at the Gabba after Usman Khawaja was ruled out with a back injury. Former England player Stuart Broad has told Seven it's bad news for the visitors.
We don't know who's going to come in and bat 5 yet, but I think it does strengthen the Aussies and it sort of brings back those sort of old scars really for England for what Travis Head did to them.
Plenty of racing awaits this season. Find it all at mrc.racing.com.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up, Gareth Hall with you. It's 28 minutes past 9. Time to head to New Zealand to catch up with Jessie Gowers. She's nearly ready to go. We'll catch up with Jessie in just a moment. And then Tassie time with Maddie Reid. As I mentioned before, Maddie Reid was one of the greatest tipping performances I've ever seen. 7 from 8 winners last week at Launceston. And most of his winners were above $3. His best value and his rough he saluted at $13, which kicked off proceedings. Well, when he tipped that galloper to us, it was $17 to $12. And then he never missed. His best bet won by 5 lengths running away, and it was $3. So we'll catch up with Matty Reid. Hopefully he made a little bit of cash. Hopefully he's around. He might have retired after that particular tipping performance there last week. And then, of course, just after 10 o'clock, it's the best from the West, where Darren McCauley will join us. Danny Roberts will join us as well as we talk all things WA racing. But let's take a quick break. On the other side of it, we'll catch up with Jess Gowers.
Plenty of racing awaits this season. Find it all at mrc.racing.com.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. Gareth Hall with you on this Wednesday morning. Jessie Gower joins us from NZB. Hello to you, Jess.
Morning, Gareth.
Now, you catalogue for the 100th year of the celebration for NZB selling yearlings at Karaka as we celebrate the 100th year. The catalogue should be out now. You should have it. Well, it is out now, but you should have the hard copy if you wanted one, basically.
Yeah, I don't have any evidence yet out of Australia to say they've landed, but I think they ought to have. So, everyone should have them. And if they haven't arrived yet, let us know and we can get another one out.
Now, how many Australians are over there at the moment? I see Peter Moody has arrived in New Zealand. Johnny O'Shea, I think, is taking a group over before Christmas. So it's a popular exercise that a few of the trainers do with a few of their key owners ahead of the yearling sale next year. They go in the latter part of this year and obviously have a look at these yearlings and visit the different farms.
Yep, that's right. So Peter Moody, I had lunch with him yesterday at Pencarrow. He has a group of about 10 owners. Some of them have never been to New Zealand before, and others are like seasoned campaigners who just never want to miss it because they just love getting out to the farms. So it's a cool mixture of different types of racehorse owners, really. And it's without fail, it seems to they just have the best time and have a good look around the Waikato and some of the farms and wined and dined by vendors and have a super time. So we've got John O'Shea next week. It's a great way to get a bit of insight into how these horses are growing. Okay,
and Pete Moody wasn't smoking any of Sir Peter's cigars, was he?
I can't confirm or deny anything from lunch.
What a lunch that would have been. And I think the best part about this sale in New Zealand anyway in January is that all of the major farms there in New Zealand are supporting the sale next year. Like they always support it, but their numbers speak for how much they are supporting it. For instance, Cambridge are sending their entire draft to Karaka in 2026.
Yeah, and that's enormous to have 100% support from those big farms who sometimes struggle just logistically to prepare that many horses for the one sale. So that speaks volumes. 100% from Cambridge Stud. We've got 70 from Waikato Stud, huge amount. Trelawney Stud, who are just premium, slightly smaller but premium vendors, they're giving us 100%. There's a lot of that, and that's reflected in the quality and depth of the catalogues. The sires that you look through, and Sababeel's got 35 in Book 1. Purincanto's flying at the moment. He's got 30 catalogued for Book 1. Super Zeth needs no introduction. We've got loads of his. Satono Aladdin, he's got really good statistics. He's a great young sire, and we've got about 70. Yeah. He's got loads of his. Pricey and Novair and sort of state, younger sires coming through who are in hot demand. Just throughout, the quality's there. These Kiwi sires are right through it, and it's shaping up to be a very good sale.
I don't think you've had a more, and we've said this for a few seasons now, there's never been, depth-wise anyway, a better group of stallions standing in New Zealand.
No, they really are. They're doing the job. I mean, racing in Australia is such a benchmark, I guess. That's what we measure the quality of our stallions by. If they're performing in the big Group 1 races in Australia, then we know we're getting the job right. And those big buyers, Australia represents such a large portion of our buying market, and their attention swings our way the moment our stallions keep on putting their hands up. And we consistently do that. Last season, New Zealand breds won 21% of the Group 1 races in Australia, and we only make up 7.7% of the population. So we're defying probability and have been doing so for as long as, probably 100 years. Yeah. We go well.
And I reckon this is the best stat. With 21% of Group 1 races in Australia won, they're bred from Kiwi horses. So Kiwi bred again last season. So it's 21% of Group 1 races were won in Australia were bred by New Zealand breeders, and that's despite representing just 7.7%. I find this hard to believe, really. This is an amazing stat of the racing population.
Yeah, I know. It feels like there are more going around, but they're just overrepresented in the big races. We go for the big ones.
Yeah, 100%. Well,
we're picky.
And so if you want accommodation and everything like that, Jess, you get in contact with NZB for Karaka next year?
Yes, absolutely. Our hospo team is in full swing now. We're getting a lot of bookings through. We're going to have everything sorted. We'll have our usual shuttle service. So if you're in hotels in the beautiful sort of viaduct area of Auckland or anywhere through there, we'll have shuttles coming to and from Karaka all of the days of the Karaka sales and Karaka Millions Night as well. I think there's a little bit of room at Doubletree out at Karaka still, but that won't last long.
No. It's a wonderful hotel there at Doubletree as well. I can highly recommend that. All right then, Jess, thanks for that. Don't hang around Pete too much and party too hard. And obviously John O'Shea's coming next week as well, so with his team. So there'll be a lot of fun to have, I reckon, there in New Zealand.
Absolutely. Thanks, Gareth.
There we go. There's Jessie Gower there. Let's take a break. We'll come back with Tassie Time next.
Plenty of racing awaits this season. Find it all at mrc.racing.com.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
So they're my best. G, race 2, number 2. Each way value, race 8, number 5, Still Missed, and 1 at Bolter's odds, race 1, number 7, Zulu Fields.
Zulu Fields just in front from the Buiaga, getting close to home, and Zulu Fields gets in. But Beneficiary leads 100 metres left to travel, put up 2 or 3 lengths, and Beneficiary, the 5-year-old gelding on debut, comes on for a good win. It's the longest yard in front, 100 to travel, a length clear from Whipham Piccadilly for Rodde de Legend running on late, but it'll be the longest yard. The longest yard gets in. Talk Like That, Course of Electric, Alpine Fury rallying back the inside, 3 across the track, Alpine Fury just in front, and Alpine Fury will get in. Halen trying hard with a length to make up. Randall Park in front, but Halen is flying the outside. Halen grabbed the lead. He's a horse in form. He scores by 3 parts of a length. GG Enough Speed trying hard in second spot. It's Make a Decision in front from GG Enough Speed, getting close to home, and Make a Decision outstays his rivals by 3 parts of a length over GG Enough Speed. Out Night Invader trying hard the outside. Don't Give Up and Night Invader racing up to Don't Give Up. Night Invader and Don't Give Up. They've hit it locked together. Don't Give Up and Night Invader.
What a weekend, or what a Wednesday night, last Wednesday night for Matty Reid, and he joins us now for Tassie time on this Wednesday morning. Hello to you, Matty. Of course, Tassie, the perfect place to race. Enjoy the 25-26 Ladbrokes Tasmania Summer Racing Festival. If you tip like that, Matty, we will enjoy this Tassie Carnival coming up. Well done.
How good was that, Jay? I don't think I've ever had a winning montage before. I think that's... 7 out of 8. It was a big night, probably a PB for me. We were daring to dream with the last race, but we didn't have too much to cheer about there. So, no, it was a good night, and as you know, the game doesn't stop, so we'll have to try and find some more this evening.
A good night. Well, Zulu Fields was the first winner, and that was your best value, or your best roughie. It SP'd at $10, but it was a lot bigger when you tipped it to us that Wednesday morning. And then you went to Beneficiary, that was your best, basically, at $3.40 on debut. From barrier 13, never looked like getting beat. The longest yard never looked like getting beat. So that 3.4, then 3.3 for Alpine Fury. Halen paid $5, Make a Decision $3.90. And then Night Invader paid $3.50. And then who did you have in the last? It was Still Miss, wasn't it?
Yeah, Still Missed
$10.
The double figures, and unfortunately it sort of missed the kick and got a bit of a wide run. But it's always nice, G, when you can find a few at value, that's for sure. It's easy to kind of...
But I've never seen it
week in, week out.
I've never seen anything like it. Usually when people are tipping the card, there's $1.50, $1.60 favourites. But there was nothing under $3. 3.5, 3.9, 5, 3.3, 3.4, 3.4 and $10. It's truly an amazing tipping performance.
Well, let's hope we can do it again, G. You're only as good as the next set, aren't you?
Did you back plenty of winners? Did you have a fill up? Because there can be a difference between tipping well and punting well, as I well know.
I had a decent night. I didn't multi any of them up or anything. It was it probably wasn't a super high confidence night for me. I got $34 about that first winner, Zulu Fields, which kind of bomb-proofed the night. But I can tell you, I went home after working at the races. My family staying at the country club with me, and I had toast for dinner. So I wasn't going that well that I could celebrate with lobster and a steak tea. So, no, it was a good night, and hopefully we can find a few more over a big summer carnival.
What's your best tonight then?
Best bet, we're going to Nepali Beach in race 4. She's been very consistent this preparation. She's placed on 3 occasions. She was smashed into, retrospectively, a silly price last time. That race was controlled from the front and she got out the back. I think there's good pace in this contest tonight. 1,200 metre, benchmark 60. There's potentially as many as 3 or 4 litres. And I think if she can be close enough on the home turn, she can run past them. She's racing really well. And I've got her a bit shorter than the market as well. So made my best race 4, number 5, Nepali Beach.
What's your next best?
We'll go to the feature, 1,600 metre open handicaps race 6G, and this is a ballot-free race for the Devonport Cup, and a lot of these horses will be heading to that race. It's a terrific contest. I'm sticking with the rising star here in Arundel. He's won 5 of 7. He's another one in the Star Thoroughbred colours for Barry Campbell, who's seemingly one of a production line of really good horses that they have. Returned with a first up win, beating the Longest Yard, who, as we saw, won last week. And he was never going to win that at any stage until the winning post. He kind of found a gap, knuckled down, hit the line. He had 59 kilos there. He dropped to 54 here. Mile second up's only a positive. Wide draw. I don't hate as much as it looks on paper. This horse can be a little bit slowly away, so I think Chloe might have a few more options from out there if that is the case. And I just think he's a horse going places, and I do think he'll be winning the Devonport Cup in about a month's time, G. So this is a stepping stone, race 6, number 9, Arundel.
And your best value, mate?
Value, race 5, number 4, Trotsky. This is another one from the Dylan Clark yard. He also trains the Parley Beat, so I'm hoping it's a big night for Dylan. Excuses 2 back in a Class 1. Last week ran really well in a Class 2, and now he drops back to a Class 1 again. And we're also shopping around a double-figure price, which I think's well wrong for me. He's racing in great form, Trotsky, so hopefully he can do the job for us. Race 5, number 4.
And then that's the Gallops, of course. We've had this Melbourne Cup competed in the Greyhound World last Saturday in Victoria, but after that we go straight to the Hobart 1000, where you get some of those greyhounds head across to Tasmania, and the heats kick off there tomorrow night there. So there's 5 heats for the Hobart 1000 this year, which is Tassie's biggest greyhound race.
Yeah, it's our only Group 1 for the dogs, and for a long time was the only Group 1 of any code. Now we've got the Group 1 Tasmanian Cup for harness at the end of the summer as well. It'll be an interesting series. There's no standout. Appenzel's the pre-post favourite, and he was disappointing in the 1,000 Prelude last week for Mickey Stringer. So hopefully he can bounce back. It's always great if the locals can strike a blow here. Appenzel comes up in the 3rd heat. I think he is there up against Ducati Roy.
Yep.
There's a few visitors coming across. I think Jason Thompson's got one in there. David Gill there too. Matt Locke's in one of the races too. I think it's the 5th and last qualifier as well, a well-travelled Victorian dog too. So always good, the Hobart 1000 when it rolls around. And as you say, 5 heats tomorrow night, so the winners and the 3 fastest seconds will get through to that final, which is worth $100K to the winner on the 11th of December.
And tried to tell you, this is a great story, a local victory in the Golden Apple, defeating He's a Punk Rocker for Emma Stewart and Alex Ashwood. Stewart and Ashwood nearly took out all of the features, but it was good to see the Rowan Hillier trained and driven pacer and tried to tell you, take out the Golden Apple this year.
He's a gun, this bloke. He's had a few injury issues, was formerly with the Howletts down south, and they sent him up north to Rowan Hillier in a different environment, and it's just absolutely paid dividends. He looked the winner of that race a long, long way from home and knocked off Emma Stewart, and He's a Punk Rock, as you said. They struck a blow with Hungry Hippo on that program, but I think tried to tell you that the next big one down here is probably the Hobart Pacing Cup, which is early January. Yeah. So December is a bit of a funny program for those open class pacers. So I think he'd be keeping his powder reasonably dry, tried to tell you. And then we've got the Hobart Cup and Devonport Cup in January, and as I touched on just before, the Tasmanian Cup in late February. So they'll be the big targets for Tassie's best pacer. I think we can pretty safely call him now.
You go and get him tonight, mate, again. And we can watch that on your streaming service, is that right? Go to the Tas Racing website?
Yeah, I'll be hosting tonight, Tas Racing Live, and we'll have at least the back half of the card on Sky Thoroughbred Central as well.
Beautiful. Thanks for that, mate.
Thanks, Jay.
Tom Moxon now joins us, the Chief Steward at Racing New South Wales, with the decision there today from Racing New South Wales to postpone their Saturday meeting to Sunday because of the extreme heat that is predicted there in Sydney on Saturday. Tom, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us on Giddy Up.
Morning, Gareth. How are you going?
We rarely see this, Tom, that you make a decision this far out. Can you explain the reasons there?
Sure. Well, obviously it's not a decision that's taken lightly, but we've been monitoring the weather and the forecast from earlier on in the week, and there doesn't appear that there's going to be any change. And we've had contact with meteorologists at the Bureau, and their sort of advice is that how the forecast is at the moment is going to remain all the way through to the weekend, and including Saturday, with what they're saying is going to be extreme heat, particularly for the western part of Sydney, where obviously Rose Hill is located.
Is it a situation now, because you've got highway horses and engaged every Saturday, that you need to make a decision early for those people travelling long distances?
Well, that's obviously a consideration, but it's just for the general population.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've got to consider horse welfare, the welfare of the participants, and all the information that we're receiving is that we're going to be met with temperatures around that 40 degree and M plus, for not just spiking and then easing. It's going to be for a number of hours, and to benefit those participants and horses, it really was ultimately an easy decision to put the meeting back a day, bearing in mind what the forecast is for Sunday, where they're sort of indicating the temperatures are going to be between that mid to high 20s.
Is this the new norm now, that you'll try and make decisions this early regarding, say, especially a big weekend race meeting?
Oh, look, I'm not going to say it's the norm. We'll be guided by what the experts say, and we all appreciate that even the professionals in that field can get it wrong from time to time. But it seems pretty consistent that Saturday is going to be extreme weather conditions in respect of the heat in the western part of Sydney. So to get on the front foot, to let all the participants know, we felt it was in the best interest for everyone to make that call on acceptance day.
What's your response to a social media post from Gay Waterhouse, who says, "Boy, oh boy, what has gone wrong? Are we and our equine leaders so weak that they can't cope in the heat? Hello, we live in a sunburnt country. Start the races at 9:30 or 10 o'clock so that they're over before the heat of the day. Offer free entry and invite the families." What would your response be to Gay? Have you had a chat to Gay?
Mrs. Waterhouse is well entitled to her own opinion, and look, there are options that we considered: running the meeting early, running the meeting as a twilight meeting, and to run the 10 races. There's going to be some of those races, whether or not it's an earlier or a later meeting, that are going to be run in the peak extreme heat of in excess of 40 degrees. And I suppose I'd much rather be coming on your program to explain why we've moved a meeting in respect to protecting animal welfare and industry participants, rather than coming in on a Monday morning trying to defend ourselves for running a meeting where everyone knew it was going to be extreme temperatures and an incident occurred.
That's totally understandable. And at the end of the day, welfare, especially in today's world, has to be paramount. And you can't 100%. Really take any risks.
No, and that's our job. Our job is to protect everyone, from the human to the horse. And with what information we've received, as I indicated, I know obviously we've got to consider all aspects of the industry and wagering and all those factors, but at the end of the day, welfare and safety is paramount and must be put first.
I've got about a minute left. I wonder what would be better for wagering, Saturday morning or Sunday afternoon?
Yeah,
we'll leave that to Mr. Volandis.
That's right. They're the experts that would be able to advise.
Thanks for joining us, Tom, and updating us on that situation. And everybody knows now, Wednesday, acceptance is closed, of course, an hour ago, but we're racing on Sunday in Sydney, which gives us something to look forward to on a Sunday afternoon anyway, Tom.
That's right.
Good on you, mate. Thanks for that update. There's Tom Moxon. He spoke well there, I thought. So that's the chairman of stewards there at Racing New South Wales. Darren McCauley's about to join us for the best from the West, and we'll talk about all of the hot issues in the sport of WA racing. Plus, of course, we'll be catching up with Denny Roberts, the superstar harness racing driver, who will join me to talk about Minstrel, who's the favourite for the WA Pacing Cup, which is coming up on Friday week.
Tune in to Racing WA TV on 7+, your ultimate destination for everything racing in the West. On SEN Track, this is the best from the West.
Darren McCauley joins me as he always does these days for the best from the West. Hello to you, Darren.
Good morning to you, G. Good morning, everyone.
Beautiful. Our line is a lot better than it was a couple of weeks ago, which makes me a lot happier, to tell you the truth. And you're looking beautiful as always, Mr. McCauley.
You're very, very kind, Gareth. And
Yes.
isn't technology a wonderful thing when it actually works? So
It does, yes.
We're here in the studios at Optus, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And we've got some exciting announcements coming up too with our coverage of racing. So we're really looking forward to that as well. And thankfully, the conditions have cooled off a little bit after Monday's heat.
Yes.
It got to 39 degrees, but it's been very pleasant so far through the week. And we're looking forward to an absolute peach of a day for the Northerly coming up on Saturday.
It was interesting. We just had Tom Moxon on the show, the chairman of Stewards of Racing New South Wales, and they've made a decision on a Wednesday to postpone their Saturday meeting to a Sunday, which I haven't really seen before, this far out anyway. And you get a lot of hot days in WA. So it's a tough juggling act, I reckon, for racing administrators to make sure they get this right in a way, because obviously a lot can happen within 2 days and the weather can change. And let's be honest, the Weather Bureau doesn't get it right on too many occasions. So, no, it's an interesting situation that we find ourselves in these days, especially in Western Australia, where I reckon there last season you lost a lot of race meetings or had to postpone a lot of race meetings because of the heat, Darren.
Yeah, absolutely spot on, Gareth. We do run a lot of twilight meetings these days too, and they do look ahead. They've got the Bureau of Meteorology, where they look at all different aspects of heat and humidity, and there is a sense of contradiction. You could have a 35, 36 degree day, which is where you can run, but you could have humidity that's excessively high and far more energy sapping than any heat would be, and yet they will allow you to run. And yet it could be 37.5 or whatever it might be. I'm not quite even sure what the ruling is these days, the heat policy they have. But you can be half a degree over and you can't run a meeting until it ticks down to that, benchmark number.
Yeah.
So there is a sense of contradiction, and I always used to think, and I went to Perth Cups way back in the day, when, it was 44 degrees one day. Time Frame won the Cup back in the 90s anyway. It led all the way, and it was a 2 mile Perth Cup back then. And I remember the thermostat reading in the old shed where the jockeys were down in the mounting yard.
Yeah.
It was 49.
Yeah.
I remember the great Bobby Champion was there, and he nearly passed out. But things have changed. Welfare is paramount these days, although, others would argue that the thoroughbred was born from the deserts of Arabia, the Dali, the Barb, the Godolphin. They're a herd animal. And I was only talking to another trainer about this last night, with horses. You can put up lean-to sheds and you can provide shade and all the rest of it in these paddocks. He said, I look out there in bewilderment sometimes because the horses are lying in the hottest part of the paddock, just on the ground, and that's what they do. So there's a sense of contradiction about it, but I understand the significance of looking after the welfare of horses and humans at the same time.
Yeah, I think
it's a big responsibility.
You make that point. It's not just the thoroughbred that they're looking after with the heat policy. It's the human factor as well with the jockeys and especially the participants that have to be in that heat. And I reckon if it was 49 degrees these days in a Perth Cup, they definitely won't be running. So we've got the Best from the West means test here, which we're going to be doing every Wednesday. Of course, we do a Monday means test with Wayne Hawkes and Johnny O'Neill. So we'll talk about a few of the issues, and we'll have a few different categories on a Wednesday morning when you join me, Macca. And the first one, of course, we'll start with the King's Gambit. And it is, have we got it wrong about Joker's Grin? Obviously, he was the second favourite, and he was well supported as well throughout the week with Bet365 before a winner bottom. He missed the kick. It didn't go his way, and he failed to finish in the top 4 there on Saturday. Now, Bernie Miller has told us that everything is okay. He had the vets go out during the week, and he will push on towards a gold rush. And he's got a new jockey now with Sean O'Donnell, who rode him there 2 starts back when Patrick Carberry had concussion. So he is riding this horse in a gold rush, with Patrick unfortunately being suspended there in the winner bottom last Saturday, Macca. Your thoughts on all of this with Joker's Grin? How good is he?
Well, on his day, at his best, he is incredibly good, as we've seen. From time to time, and this sounds bizarre when I say this, I haven't been able to catch him. And yet he's won 9 out of 13.
Yeah.
And his record speaks for itself. We know the best version of this horse is electrifying, as we saw in the Quokka, where he just rounded them up and he charged home. Now, whether or not he didn't like racing, maybe inside of horses there on Saturday in the Winterbottom, that could be argued, but I could see that Pat was fully testing the horse, as there were others that were starting to feel the pinch, and they just couldn't get going. I'm not quite sure whether it was just one of those off days. He didn't have an impact like he is certainly become very well known for, and he didn't deliver to expectations. So is the jury out? I guess there are questions to be asked. Is he a 1,000-metre horse, effectively?
Okay.
He's had 13 runs, 9 wins, 7 over 1,000 metres, 1 at 11 and 1 at 1,200. That, of course, was the Quokka. So there had been that argument raised before, about whether or not he was just one of those on the day, turn up, electrifying 1,000-metre horses. So that could be something that they'll have a look at.
So I reckon you give him another chance. I would have faith in Joker's Grin, because when you talk to people who, like a Peter Anthonys that analyses the data, that he produces times like only of a proper Group 1 horse. I reckon he's a horse, however, that he's a little bit one-dimensional, where he needs to be, he needs a cut up into the race, he needs a fast tempo, and he needs just to have that last crack at them like he did in the Quokka. So he needs the race to pan out in his favour, and if he doesn't get that, then he can't overcome those obstacles like what happened there on Saturday when he missed the kick. 1,400 metres is a big question mark for mine. I agree with you, whether he'll get a strong 1,400 metres. I think when you ask the connections, they believe he will, but it will be a test for him come Saturday. And that now comes to our next category, the big race integrity, as we look back there at the Winterbottom. And Overpass was the beaten favourite there, Darren, on Saturday. I think he was a little bit disappointing. I thought that the run that he had every opportunity to make it 3 on the trot there on Saturday. And I reckon if we saw the real Overpass, he would have won there on Saturday.
Well, he's now been here for 2 visits. The last 2 when he was seemingly unbeatable leading up to it. He was beaten out of the placings in the Quokka in the autumn, and he's come back and he got beaten, I think, on his merits on Saturday. I think you're right in your assessment of how the race was run. It was run tactically to suit. He again wobbled off on the corner, as he does tend to do at Ascot, and what he did do was allow the horse following him there that dream drift through on his inside to pick him up late, Libertad. And one wonders if, whilst he went down fighting, he didn't coil up, he didn't get steamrolled or anything like that. He got beaten by a bob of the heads. That's all it was. And maybe the older Overpass would have accelerated away, put a gap on them, and then put the race to bed. So they can't stay great forever, can they? And he's done an incredible job to win just under $13 million in prize money. You'd like to have a few of those in the backyard.
So you have a look at the Gold Rush market now with Bet365 and these horses coming out of the Winterbottom Stakes. So Joker's Grin, it surprises me that he's favourite with Bet365. He's at $4. Roped them in at $5. Now, he was a big run, I reckon, in a Winterbottom Stakes, and he's the only real horse, I reckon, Darren, going into a Gold Rush that he has actually been set for this race. Like the others have had grand finals where they thought that like it was a Railway or a Northerly or a Winterbottom Stakes where they think that's their best chance of winning during the Pinnacles. We roped them in. I reckon they identified that he's a 1,400 metre horse, and this is his big grand final, and he's at $5 over past $5.50. And Ray Bignero, they're going to have a crack there at $6. Yet a horse like Oscar's Fortune, I reckon, goes there still. He's at $21 after finishing not far off them. So out of those Winterbottom horses, who do you think the best chance is of taking out the Gold Rush?
Well, I think the horse that you identified there, Roped Them In, has got a second to none chance. I thought his run was, of the local horses, the best of them on Saturday. His run previous to that, with 61.5 kilos, was outstanding. It provided Steve Wolf with the dilemma.
Yeah.
Do you go to the Railway or do you come back for a Winterbottom knowing that you can step up to 1,400? And I think 1,400 is his wheelhouse. So I would think that if he comes up with a reasonable enough draw in the Gold Rush, rope them in, I really think has got as good a chance as any, and certainly maybe emerging as the best of the West Aussie horses in that particular race. I think what you've said there is absolutely spot on. Steve Wolf has had that race eyed off for some time. I'm so glad that he bypassed the railway, went back to the Winterbottom as the building run, the platform step to get to 1,400 metres, and maybe that judgment is going to be rewarded when we see them step out in the Gold Rush.
So he's the third or second favourite, as I said, rope them in. I reckon he's definitely the horse to beat.
Yeah. And by the way, Oscar's Fortune's definitely going there. I spoke with Dion last night.
Oh, is he? Yes.
And he's definitely happy with the way that he's pulled up. Everything was good with Oscar's. Probably blew up a little bit, but he said he'll be more than happy to get him to 1,400. And I'm really glad that Robbie Griffiths is going to stay on as well with Ray Magnieri.
Yeah.
I loved his run there. He was just tonking through on the inside. It is uncharted territory for Ray Magnieri, but I'm really pleased that Rob's elected to stay here and just throw him into the deep end and just see what is possible if things happen to sort of fall his way. You get an even break in these good races, you never know your luck.
I don't know if he gets 1,400 metres, Ray. We'll find out anyway. I reckon.
That's the thing. We can all have a subjective opinion on whether horses can or can't, but until they go and do that, and we'll get to King of Light in a minute. They say, could he be the best? Could he be that? Well, could he be the next Scenic Blast, Scenic Shot? We've discussed this previously from Danny Morton's stable. Well, you don't know until they go and do it. You don't know until they put the runs on the board. We can all have a subjective view, but it might amount to absolutely nothing at the end of the day.
Yep.
But you've got to go there and give them the opportunity to do it.
Now, I want to have a chat about the Archibalds, all right, because I was talking to a friend about this yesterday. Can you believe Zaki got beat in a Northerly when Annabelle Neesham took Zaki here? Got beat by Don DeShoot for Jared Noski. So Zaki was beaten as a short price favourite, and he was probably coming towards the back end of his career, but he was a genuine weight for age superstar. He was a $2 favourite for a WS Cox plate before he was scratched sensationally on race day morning.
Had
and
a
James
Jock on him that day as well.
Yeah, so James McDonald actually flew from Hong Kong on the eve of the international meeting to ride Zaki, and you couldn't put enough on him as they swung for home, and he gets beat. And then the next week they turn up with Port Lockroy, who hasn't won another race to win a railway, and then Libertad defeats Overpass to win a Winterbottom Stakes. It's a cruel game for us punters from time to time, Darren.
Yes, it looks the obvious when you get horses like Azaki come here and just go and pick off a little bit of low-hanging fruit, and then all of a sudden they get rolled by a local. You're right about Port Lockroy. I think we mentioned here on your program that the last three railway winners have not won a race subsequently since. One of them had been placed. And so Annabelle, and I had the pleasure of dining out with her and some of the Libertad part owners on Saturday night with Walshy, and we had a good fun night there, and we talked about that. She sees the humour, the mirth in all of this that goes on, but she loves coming across here, and win, lose or draw, she goes home with some pretty good memories of Perth. I'm sure that they're going to be very, very regular with their horses coming across here to our carnivals.
What do you mean the humour? What kind of humour does she see, Darren?
Well, she gets it. She gets my stuff-ups for a start, which is very important too. She's very forgiving.
What does she say to you?
I found out.
What does she say to you?
She said to me, I walked into the restaurant. Can I give it a plug?
Yes, you can.
Miss Chow's.
Yeah,
it's a good spot.
Yeah.
And I walked in. I was later than everyone else, and Peter Walsh was holding court at the head of the table. And I looked at Annabelle as I walked in. She looked back at me, and we just sort of had a bit of a stare off for a few moments, and then she just winked at me and she said, "At least you got my horse's name right this time."
And it was a great call too, and you got the photo finish right too, Cobb.
Yeah, well, if you have enough throw at the stumps, you've got to get it right occasionally, surely. But she's good. She's really good value, Annabelle, and she brings a lot of excitement, joy over here. And Rob's fantastic as well, and they're developing some really good relationships with the people here in WA.
No, that is sensational. As we continue on the different categories. Now, the 3-year-old factor in the Northerly, we've got King of Light, who dominates the market. He's a clear favourite with Bet365 around $2.60. The next best in the market is Vivier and Western Empire at $8. Like, the 3-year-old factor has been a winning factor in recent times when it comes to the Northerly. But should he be that much of a dominant favourite this year, the Guineas winner?
Well, he is very short. When I was going through that market earlier this morning, they got the right draw, by the way. I think that 8 was perfect, where Willie can just take hold, ease back, and then look for a trail into the race there and let him build. We know how exciting he is, but he has to go to a Group 1 race, and this is going to be a litmus test for him. If you go back over recent years, the fillies have been okay. Old Comrade won this race as a 3-year-old. It's a Him won it as a 3-year-old. Now, that was back in 2013. There hasn't been a 3-year-old colt gelding win the race subsequently since then, I don't think. So it's the fillies that have been okay, but the colts and geldings, we haven't seen that many of them win, although, when the race was in another incarnation, there were a lot of 3-year-olds that won the race because they had that big weight advantage. But look, you know what? He is a very, very talented horse. He's got 5 on the board. He gets to 52 kilos in this race on Saturday. He gets the right draw. He's got the best in the West in the saddle. And if he runs to the expectation and the ability that he has shown so far, then King of Light could stamp himself as being the next star of WA. But time will tell, because he's up against some formidable warriors that have been around. Western Empire's one of those. I think he gets into the race really well on the weekend also. Meets most of these on better weight terms, of course, than he did in the handicap, and did run second in this race. But it was 4 years ago. Talk about testimony to the horse's durability, to think that it was in 2021 that he ran second to Regal Power, and here he is going around again for another crack at it.
Yeah, unbelievable, really. And then we've got the dynasty of the Lindsay Park and the Hayes family. If a pulley can, he's been an amazing horse, a pulley, to do what he's been able to do this preparation. But it would be some story if Ben, JD and Will Hayes could join their father and grandfather and be Northerly champions. If a pulley could win the Group 1 Northerly Stakes. Yeah,
their granddad, Pop, whatever they call the late CS, he was a regular over here through the 1970s in that period they used to call the golden era. And didn't he bring some superstars across here, the likes of Better Loosen Up? He won this race. A credit account for the late Billy Galbraith, who you may well remember, used to own that horse. Very good horse, station hand. And then, of course, David also had a fair bit of success with Nicanero as well. He's won 3, I think, of these races. So the family have got a heritage in the event, no matter what the race has been called over the years, and it's had a few derivations. But I think the Hayes boys here would love to add their name to the list of family members that have won the race. And I think the job that they've done with Apulia has been absolutely nothing short of remarkable to get this horse back in the way that he's going with those 2 wins in Melbourne coming across here. His pattern looks as though it'll be, not much of a disadvantage where he's drawn. He'll go back 1,800 metres and do what he's been doing in Melbourne, rounding them up and grinding out his races. And hope he runs a real ripper of a race on the weekend, because it'll give them enormous satisfaction if he can win it.
Who do you think wins the Northerly? What are your numbers?
Haven't really locked them down just yet.
Yes.
I've got a little bit of work to do at the moment. My gut feeling is that the 3-year-old is up to this. I've just taken a real liking to King of Light, what he does, no frills. He's a bit of an old soul in a young horse's body, but what he delivers and the ability to quicken, and I think if Pike can find the right back to get him there and then he builds with the 52, his rivals are going to know that new kid on the block is certainly going to have a very big impact. So I'd be leaning towards him initially. I think under the weights and measures, you know what you're going to get with Western Empire. Billy Egan, again, in the saddle. He knows the horse. So I think that, you know, those two are going to play a very big part in the race. And I'm also thinking that Apulia, the way that the Hayes boys have got it going at the moment, it has to be considered. So haven't really nailed them down specifically at the moment, G, but that's my initial thinking.
You got talking about Genesis, you got the Williams team, if they can win a Northerly, Bob and Sandra Peters with Cosmic Crusader. Fred Kersley, if he wins his first Group 1 in a Northerly, wouldn't that be fitting?
That'd
with
be a great
Ozapinko at $26. And geez, I'm warming to Depth of Character at $19 because he gets a gate and he gets Chris Parnham aboard. I think that's a massive plus as well from Gate 2. He's at $19. He's a big price, I reckon.
Yeah. And look, you know, you couldn't dismiss him on the run either.
No.
In the railway. He was off the course all the way. I don't think he was any better than 4 deep. No cover, the poor bugger. He saw more of the outside rail than the in. And I thought he was good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think from what he'd drawn in Barrier 2, he's going to get a far more economical run on this occasion there. And, you know, you'd love to see him run a terrific race there, you know, for Annabelle and Rob. Depth of Character.
Yeah. What about something for the battlers today at Belmont? 7 races, Darren. What about your best bets and a quaddie there?
Thinking the third, Trevor Andrews' 3-year-old, Sound of Speed, second up, won this trip second up last campaign. Thought the return to Anaballistic. Now, Simon Miller earlier this morning talking with the Breakfast Boys was really keen about Anaballistic today. So if that's the reference, then I think that Sound of Speed, beautifully drawn, Barrier 5, it'll be awfully hard to beat. That win down there in Bunbury, it gave them an absolute shellacking that day. So I'm keen. It was 265 overnight there in the market, G. So we're happy to go with Sound of Speed. And I thought that in the race that preceded the third, that we could have something on 13 in Malolo from the Dan and Ben Pierce stable. Drawn to advantage there. I thought it trialled pretty well. It and Ballura Star Clash, they come out of the very same barrier trial. I'm forgiving of its only appearance, went straight to the paddock after getting beaten, but it had trialled really well going to it. So I'm suggesting here that maybe there was a setback. It might have had shin soreness, but they put it straight away. So back today, Malolo the filly, and I'm going to tip her around $7 as our little each-way play for the battlers.
Beautiful, mates. And was Simon tipping Anaballistic today?
Well, he's like IGA. He's got specials every day.
Yes.
And Anaballistic, he was crowing this morning. Everything's spot on, he said.
Beautiful.
So, I take it as though he's keen.
All right, I've got one for you today. Impressive Jewel in the last.
For the Maley stable?
Yes.
Yeah.
Race 7,
absolutely.
number 8.
Have I tipped it? I've got it down there in my top 3.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's $5.50. It's not excessive overs, but I like the win. Didn't trial before the first up victory there, so impressive duel with the bloke who can bend a fair elbow. I think that it'll be right there in the mix. It's one of the numerous chances in the last event.
Well, you go and get him today, Macca. Good calling, and bring on, of course, the Northerly Stakes, and we'll continue the build up there on Saturday morning when you join me for our preview from 7 o'clock Western time, of course 10 o'clock in the East, and it's going to be a fascinating race.
It certainly will be. The last of the Group 1s, G, for the Pinnacles, but I just wonder if the Gold Rush might get a bit of a lift in status in the ensuing years.
Yeah. We'll talk about that next week. We had David Hunter on Friday, and he mentioned that they've got to look at the Railway Stakes. They've got to do something about it, and he just doesn't know what they're going to do yet. But maybe we can put our thinking caps on and maybe have a few ideas regarding what they do with the carnival. But I reckon the Gold Rush is becoming one of the most intriguing races now of the Pinnacles, and it's the Group 3, and it's probably going to have the best fielding, I reckon, and it's the Group 3 out of the Group 1. So we'll discuss that next week, Cop.
Okay, well, I've got my thinking cap on already, G, so I'm ready and
beautiful.
I'll no doubt be having a good think about this.
Enjoy your day today. Thanks for that.
You too, brother.
There's Darren McCauley, the superstar race caller, and of course, he joins me each and every Wednesday for the best from the West. Let's catch up now with Denny Roberts, the superstar harness racing driver, what a performance there by Minstrel to take out the $100,000 Group 2 JP Stratton Cup there at Gloucester Park Friday night. Denny, congratulations. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Hey, Gareth, how are you this morning?
Good, thank you. Is that the biggest he's ever gone?
Yeah, it's pretty hard to take away what he did in the Inters, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's probably second to that.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing there what he did. He come off the fence after being crossed, but he seems just to be getting better, Denny.
Yeah, he is. He took a bit to get going early on, and credit to Greg and Sky, just let him mature and lightly raced him. And I think they're taking the benefits for it now.
You must be looking forward to the WA Pacing Cup next week. He's the firm favourite there with Bet365. So how's he trained on?
Yeah, no, perfect. It was probably a great run for him to have a fortnight out. Just probably maintain him up until then. I've just arrived at the beach now and go and do some beach work. He loves that. It's really good for his legs, and older horses, good for their joints. So he always usually thrives this time of year, being able to do that with him.
I guess he just needs a gate now. I think it's a 2-horse race. Mr. Smarty and Minstrel. I reckon I can't see any other horse beating you two guys on Friday week. Do you think that's a fair assessment, or you think there's a few others there that could be dangerous come Friday night there for Pacing Cup night there?
I don't think you can leave Storm out.
Yeah.
He's, just too talented, and he's probably got a better turn of foot than both of us.
Yeah.
We're probably stronger. Just probably different horses in that sense. But, yeah, barrier draw is going to play a big part. But, yeah, I'd say Smarty, if he drew to lead, he'd definitely be my biggest danger.
And what about, you've got Just Call Me Mickey in the final lead-up race towards the Pacing Cup and the Navy Cup there on Friday night. He's got plenty of ability on his night. How's he been going?
Yeah, he's been going really well, just hasn't had draws to suit his racing pattern. He's a big horse that likes to be up on speed. He's got a front row draw this week, which is good, but he looks like he's going to have to do the work outside of Storm. So, yeah, he's going to have to bring his absolute best to beat him. But, look, if he does, then he definitely deserves a spot in the Cup.
Yeah, how many will Team Bond hopefully have in the Cup?
I'd say we definitely have, obviously, Minstrel and He's a Sport.
Yeah.
Just Call Me Mickey is in the field as the rankings lie at the moment.
Yeah.
And Golden Load was the other one that we were trying to push to get in.
So, He's a Sport. Were you happy with his effort there last Friday night? He had the perfect run on the back of Minstrel. We might have just missed you.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
Are you there?
Yeah, Danny, we're right now.
Sorry, I just got a phone call.
That's all right.
He's definitely that free-for-all class, but he's probably known more as a sit kick horse. So I think he lived up to sort of what he can do. He was probably a little bit too much on the speed and following that really strong tempo. So I was pretty happy with his efforts as well.
Last one before we let you go, before someone else rings you again. We've got about a minute here. Will we see Minstrel in the East for a 100 Cup Miracle Mile, maybe the Inter-Dominion?
I think so. I think Sky said today's the biggest regret not taking him to the New Zealand Cup.
Yeah.
I think we got such a big kick out of travelling with him.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed the experience. So I definitely think it'll be on the cards as long as he's sound and going well, which can't see why he won't be. I think we'll definitely go for another trip.
That is exciting. Danny, thanks for joining us. You're flying at the moment. Keep on dominating, and we'll talk to you down the track. Good luck this Friday and, of course, heading towards that Pacing Cup.
Thanks, Gareth.
There's Danny Roberts. Timmy Gossage and Scotty Cummings will have the barrier draw live on their show after 8 o'clock next Tuesday morning. So that's exciting. We might even take that barrier draw here on Giddy Up. That's 8 o'clock next Tuesday. Let's take the news.
Hello there, making SEN News headlines. Tickets are now on sale for AFL Club members for next year's Gather Round in South Australia. General admission seats available tomorrow. Surprise from the Reserve Bank Governor over higher than expected inflation. The RBA will hold its last board meeting of the year next week, where rates are widely tipped to remain on hold. Tributes for England cricket icon Robin Smith after his death at the age of 62. And Australia's top doctors are raising the alarm over shocking tanning misinformation spreading amongst the nation's teenagers. Up next, sen.com.au sport. Bo Webster is tipped to return for the second Ashes test starting tomorrow in Brisbane after Usman Khawaja was ruled out due to a back injury. England all-rounder Will Jacks will replace the injured Mark Wood. In the Premier League this morning, Man City 5-4 winners over Fulham, and Richmond's Monique Conti has won her 7th club Best and Fairest award.
Plenty of racing awaits this season. Find it all at mrc.racing.com.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall. The Giddy Up bag of tips for Oz Equipment Rentals. Supplying equipment to the construction, mining and roadworks industries. OzEquipment.com.
Trying to find you some winners today with bag of tips right across the country. All thanks, of course, to Bet365. Top Tote Plus with Bet365. You'll get the best payout across all 3 national totes. What's gambling really costing you? The mighty Ultima Hotel in the heart of the Mallee, just down the road from Swan Hill. Swing by for a cold beer. Oz Equipment Rentals, supplying equipment to the construction, mining and roadworks industries, OzEquipment.com. Sam Bennett joins us, of course, the track manager at Caulfield, ahead of this meeting on the Heath track today. Hello to you, Sam.
Morning, Gareth. How are you, mate?
Good, thank you, mate. It's the best day in Melbourne for quite some time. How good is it to have the sun shining?
I'm from Sydney originally, and
Yes.
I'll tell you what, the start of summer here was absolutely horrendous. So I'll happily take today, but yeah, certainly top of 15 on Monday and top of 19 on Tuesday. Yeah, it was a bit underwhelming, so no, I'm happy that the sun's out.
I've enjoyed the way the Heath track is playing. I think we all know how it plays now, and there's no surprises really, and we're on a good 4 and a rail. The rail's out 4 metres the entire circuit. So how do you think it'll play today, Sam?
Yeah, that's right. Good 4, rail 4, as you said. Look, certainly wear won't come into it. We've just incrementally moved the rail out 2 metres for every meeting we've had since the sort of commencement of the season on the Heath. So wear won't be an issue. I think the big sort of contributing factor today is a north wind, sort of 15 to 25 k's, which is a headwind in that side straight. So just might just make it hard for leaders to sort of hold on, certainly through that side straight, and then with that sort of 1% rise from the top of the straight to the winning post, it might even make it harder for the leaders to hold on.
So leaders back, 1 out, 1 back, nice and close with some cover, then you can have a slingshot at these leaders and get them late. Is that what you're thinking today?
Yeah, I would have thought so. As I said, the bomb only had it for 15 to 20 k's, but it's been a pretty consistent breeze all day here, and I would have thought it's going to have some sort of impact on the day's racing. I would have thought, but yeah, certainly the twilight race is starting at 3:30, and the last one at 7:30. It may just drop down, but certainly for the first half, I would have thought it had some sort of impact.
Good on you, Sam. Thanks for that.
Thanks, Gareth.
Racing.com's Clint Hutchison joins us here on this Wednesday morning to have a look at his best bets there at Caulfield this afternoon. Hello to you, Hutchie.
Yeah, very good morning to you, Gareth. How's things? Are you back in Melbourne yet?
I am. I am back in Melbourne. Yeah.
You get around a bit.
Yeah.
I tell you what, you do a good job. You've put up some air miles in the recent weeks, haven't you?
What about Hong Kong? Are you off there next week? When do you head over?
I will be there. I'm leaving Monday, so looking forward to it. It's going to be a great week. Are you heading up?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Unfortunately, I didn't get the gig.
there?
I didn't get the gig anyway. Well, we've got plenty happening here. We've got the Gold Rush, of course, in your home state, WA. I know you've forgotten where you come from, but I'll be there. I'll be there. Looking forward to that, and I'll just take in all of you. I think we might have Miles Fitzer and David Taggart heading up to Hong Kong, so I'll be in WA, and then of course. I'm looking forward to Christmas. I've got a question for you. I was having a chat to a few people about this yesterday, and I should have made it 1,600 metres as I got reminded by a couple of people. Kaying Rising v Romantic Warrior, 1,600 metres with a pacemaker and away. Match race. Who would you want to be on?
Oh, absolutely no doubt, Romantic Warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not close. I think Kai Ying, he won at 1,400, but he wasn't anywhere near as dynamic. And if you've got speed in the race, then definitely Romantic Warrior he could win a very good mile race. He's got a pretty good record.
Yeah.
That distance. So no, that's not a hard one.
No, his sectionals were unbelievable. Anyway, Romantic Warrior first up, weren't they? He was amazing off a slow tempo.
Yep, they only crawled and sprinted, but it's going to be a big week. It's going to be a big week, and you've got to make sure that next year that you get there, Gareth, because you deserve a trip like that. You haven't been away enough.
No, I know. I might. If you take a tour group with Mick Sharkey, I might turn up.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd ever want to go back again for old Mick. He's mentally scarred. We did have a good trip, the rest of us. And, we're gonna have a good time again this week and next week, I should say, and hopefully we can back plenty of winners, which is hopefully what we'll do today.
What's your best bet today? I think it's in the first, isn't it?
It's in the first. Yeah, I just felt Wolf of Fitzroy Street well placed. It's not much of a race. To be honest with you, some of the maidens you get at the other courses now seem stronger than the odd metro race you can get in maiden grade. And blinkers on, I thought the stablemate might be the one to beat, and Jenny Bassett. It also has a little gear change, but she get the right run. I think doesn't really have to improve, and hopefully Wolf of Fitzroy Street can just build a bank early. And outside of that, I thought a little later in the card, a horse with a great winning record. She's got a good record, pick and mix for the McAvoy team, and jump out was good. She flies fresh. She's jump and run type, gate 3, bounce, put her right on speed, and I think she'll hopefully make every post to winner. It's an interesting one because when I was going back to her form, she actually raced against Edgerton on her debut and beat her when Edgerton was a short price favourite. Hasn't that horse been costly for punters with the odd excuse? But enough is enough, surely.
No, I had Ethan Brown on yesterday. I said, Brownie, 3 winners is a pass mark for you today, but he's on Edgerton, so we wish him the best of luck.
I tell you what, he is. He's absolutely flying. He's a young gun. He's a young gun, and we're going to hear a lot more about him in the big races going forward. Brilliant spring he had, and if you're having a little wager, you like to see E.P. Brown on the horse's back, don't you? So it's a big plus.
And your best values race 3 certainly quiet.
Yeah, it's an interesting bit of placement. This, I mean, he always catches the eye when Craig Williams teams up with Jerome Hunter. They've obviously got a very good association. This horse was just set Mission Impossible on debut, going back in the field, obviously in the maiden company, but ripped home in some great sectionals. Nice learning experience. Smaller field here. Yes, you're taking on some horses with better experience and better credentials, but I think what certainly Quiet did on the clock there was excellent. And I just feel like if they could, up to the mile, find a half-decent spot, could be a really interesting runner. More than happy to find out at $7. I think Chikuto's a chance. I couldn't get it anywhere near sort of the current price. It's just a bit better than even money. I couldn't be on it, but no, I'd be happy to take the chance. He does a good job placing his horses, Jerome Hunter, and I think he might, while it's a bit unorthodox, he might have found the right race here.
Well, you enjoy the Hong Kong experience. I was in the the Northern Beach Bowling Club there the other day with the Gangemis. I think that's what they call it anyway. Casper Founds, your brother-in-law's got a Hall of Fame statue in that particular bowling club. Yes. So, say hello to Casper and Zach and all of the team there for us, can you?
I will do, and I'm sure I'll run into your colleagues. I mean, when I was up there last year, I couldn't see tags, but I could hear it. I could hear him. There's 80,000 people on course, and you can hear him from a long way away. So hopefully he's on his best behaviour.
And I tell you what, Jules is. You've done a wonderful job with Foxcatcher. I thoroughly enjoy your content. But geez, you're knocking off early, aren't you? It's only the third day in December, and you've packed up your bags for the year.
Hey, I'm going to be on an extended break coming up soon too. So we are knocking off pretty early. Yeah, we need a trip over to WA like you, but unfortunately it sort of falls this week with Hong Kong. But we'll line that up again soon, and we'll have to get over west. And you can show me where the places are to go, because I've forgotten. It's been so long.
I'll take you there. Don't worry about that. Moonamek, they've still got you front and square there, so you don't have to buy a drink anyway. One of the greatest moments Ascot's ever seen, and you were front and centre. Hutchie, anyway. We'll go and with your uncle, I'll go and take you out for Indian and all that. So we'll look after you when we go back to the west. But we appreciate your time. I know you got to go. So good tipping and punting today.
Yeah, no worries, Gareth. And if you're playing in Hong Kong tonight,
yes,
back
please.
J-Mac in the first.
J-Mac in the first. All right, then. We'll get on.
All right.
Better not let us down, J-Mac. We're all on now. Thanks for that, mate.
Cheers.
There's Clint Hutchison. We'll take a break. Mitch Lewis to join me next.
Plenty of racing awaits this season. Find it all at mrc.racing.com.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. Time to preview the Heath meeting at Caulfield today. And Mitchy Lewis joins us. Hello to you, Mitchy boy.
Yeah, morning, G.
Rails out 4 metres. We're on a good 4. The wind, the northerly wind might play a part in the pattern today, but I reckon it should be a fair day's racing or a day's racing at the Heath that we should know what we can expect anyway.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, how it's played quite well. I still don't think you want to get too much further back than midfield, but capable of making up ground from that sort of midfield position. So, yeah, even enough, G.
First race is clear as scratchings. You've got Wolf of Fitzroy Street at $2.10 is the market leader. Jenny Bassett at $3.60's had a little bit of backing, which is the stablemate. Ikaro at $4.40, Malek at $5.50. So Kira Ma holds the key to this race here, Mitchie.
Yeah, as you read them out, actually, my numbers are in market order now with the scratching. So I just thought Wolf of Fitzroy is close enough now. 1,600 metres probably suits. It's up its alley. It feels short enough now, though, after the deductions. Jenny Bassett takes the speed up. They are the two main chances. Ikaro with race experience, G, and then Melek on debut. You can never take Kieran on in these silks, can you?
No. So what are your numbers there?
8 from 10, from 3, from 5.
So 8, 10, 3 and 5 there in race number 1. Let's have a look at the second race on the heat track today. Faraway Dream, the 8 comes out along with the 10 Pacific Glamour. So 8 and 10 are the scratchings there. Having a look at the market with Bet365 for race number 2 at Caulfield today. You got Job Done, who's been well supported here into $3.50 first up from a break. Matty Morton from... is our trial guy for Melbourne Trials, is keen on this galloper today. Espana is at $4.40, Satin Diva $5.50, Cavalry Girl at $6.50, and then Internal Darkness at $11.
Yeah, race really changed shape, G, with Faraway Dream coming out. Look, I mentioned Job Done yesterday when we were talking about some of Ethan Brown's rides. Still think it's a very good chance, but when I did my final dive, I was pretty caught by Espana as well and what he did to win last start. I certainly think they're the two. You could probably back them both at their current prices. I think they set up well, but I found them pretty hard to split. I then went to 2, Cavalry Girl, who I thought was going to map well there for Craig Williams, from 11, Satin Diva, resuming off a pretty decent trial here at Caulfield.
Race 3 is clear of scratchings. It's a benchmark 64 over the 1,600 metres. Our boost horse, Shakudo, that you're getting $2.50 now until 12 o'clock, is the favourite for Ethan Brown and Chris Wall. And Ethan Brown gave this horse a really good push yesterday on Giddy Up. So it's the $2.10 market leader. Their backing's certainly quiet. It's 13 into 650. Clinton Hutchison gave it a good push this morning, and when Jerome Hunter teams up with Craig Williams, they're hard to beat. So it's been the best back to beat this favourite here, Mitchie boy.
Yeah, I was keen the favourite, G. I just thought 2 starts to go at Sale, really good win. Then at Caulfield, 3 lengths off the Handy Touchdown, who I think he might nearly be $1.50 later in the cut. So it's the right form line. I think he's going along nicely. He'd be the best bet for me. I thought Poet's Artistry, if the track suits, next the 1. From the 5, Signoretti as well, who's going to be positive in the run. And then, yes, the 8, certainly Quiet, I had next. Just wanting to see a little bit of improvement, I think, but that value is gone now. So I was 2 from 1, from 5 from 8.
So 2, 1, 5 and 8 there in your numbers. Let's have a look at race 4 at Caulfield today. You can scratch the 3 Lethal Forts and the 5 Masterful. Market has here in the 4th race, Storm Season, is currently at $2.50. And then you go to Define Thoughts at $3.60, Hola Amigos at $7.
Yeah, good winner first up, Storm Season. He just flattened out last time we'd seen him second up, or her, I should say, sorry. So I was just a little bit concerned maybe that would be the case again. I don't know and how this track was going to play where she landed. So I certainly think at her best she can be winning, but I'm not super keen on that price I thought if the track was a little bit leaderish, the main danger might be the 9, Divine Thoughts. So 6 from 9, from 7, Welcome to the Show, and the 4, Holla Amigos.
Just so Lethal Thoughts is a scratching here on Riser. Yeah, it is out. Defined Thoughts there at 360, the second favourite. Hey, we might take a break. We'll come back and have a look at the second half of the card next.
Plenty of racing awaits this season. Find it all at mrc.racing.com.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. Gareth Hall with you. Mitchy Lewis is joining me as we look at this Caulfield Heath program. Only scratching in race 5 to kick off the quaddie. Smart Little Miss. Mitchy, Pick and Mix is the favourite. Looks tough to beat first up in the OTI. Colours for the McAvoys at 260. Run Like an Encryption at 360. Edgerton at 440. Ridden Bly at 750. And Cavallo Raponte a $13 chance.
Yeah, Pick and Mix for me, G. Next best on the card. I like where he's going to get in position in the run. He's 2 from 2 first up, in trialling well, and drying track probably suits him as well. So I think it lines up nicely. He's going to be well suited. Edgerton, generally around the mark. He's my second pick, the 8, and then from the 1, Written Bly, and the 6, Run Like a Kryptonian.
So what's your numbers there? Just recap.
We were 1, 2, 6, 8 G. That's going to be the quaddie leg as well. I know I've got a best bet in there, but I just want to get through the first leg.
1, 2, 6 and 8. Race 6 on the program. You've got Hustle and Hills, the $3.50 from favourite from Grinsinger Pot at $5. And then Untapped had a little bit of support now into $6.
Yeah, Untapped was my each way player of the day, G. It just had a little bit of support, as you touched on. I think it was around $7 yesterday. So might just wait, see if we can get back to that each way price. But he started shorter in a stronger race last time. He'll be fitter second up now, and staying at the 1200 probably suits him. So I think you'll find a nice position with a little bit of cover. So I was keen to play him. I had the 8 Missile Tear. It's going to find a good position in the run from 11 Hustling Hills and 12 Grinsinger Pod. Just has to work from the wide barrier.
So 6, 8, 11 and 12 your numbers in race 6. You can scratch Mr. Exclusive, the 1. Primal Spirit, the 2 comes out of that race, along with the Emergencies, the 13 Foreman's Gully and the 14 Ruby Avenue. So 1, 2, 13 and 14. We'll take the news. This is Giddy Up, brought to you by Bet365. It's quickly approaching 11 o'clock, and then we'll have a look at the last couple of races with Mitchy Lewis at Caulfield today on the Heat track. So Giddy Up, brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary when it's brought to you by Bet365. What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. And then after that, we catch up with Mitchy Lewis. We'll go through the other venues there with all of our tipsters around the country.
Hello there, I'm Nath Gardner with SEN News. The Albanese government is over 70,000 homes behind its 1.2 million new homes before 2030 target. It comes as ABS data show new home approvals fell 6.4% in October. The opposition's Bridget McKenzie telling Seven the government's measures to tackle the housing crisis are not working.
70,000 shortfall is a monumental fail, and housing affordability, the critical issue across our economy, is going in the wrong direction. Rents are up, prices are up if you're trying to get into the market.
Reserve Bank Governor Michelle Bullock admits she's surprised inflation is higher than expected. Interest rates are tipped to stay on hold when the RBA holds its last board meeting of the year next week. There are concerns rates could rise in 2026 if inflation doesn't ease. More platforms are being considered to be added to the social media ban for under 16s, which kicks off a week from today, such as Yope and Lemonade. Australian man Lamar Archie has likely avoided the death penalty in Bali after prosecutors dropped the most serious drug trafficking charges against him. The 43-year-old could instead face almost a decade behind bars. And any political party thinking Trump policies are the way to win votes might want to think again. An internal review of the coalition's historic election loss, where voters turned away from Peter Dutton in droves, has singled out the Donald Trump effect. Up next, SEN Sport. The Matildas have beaten New Zealand 2-0 in their second friendly in Adelaide. Hayley Rezzo scoring one of the goals, telling 10 it's been a perfect hit-out ahead of next year's Asian Cup.
Feels really good. I love playing for Australia. It's my happy place and I feel like I thrive here. So, I'm delighted to get those goals, but even happier to get the win leading into the Asian Cup.
live on RSN and SEN Track. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. It's still a busy time here as we go through bag of tips as we try and find you a few winners across the three codes, especially, of course, with the Metro Gals meetings today. Mitchy Lewis is joining us. We're up to race number 7 in our preview of the Caulfield meeting. You can scratch the 1 Kokoro in race number 7, the 10 male model, and then the 11 Picture of a City, and the 14, which was the Emergency Blue Cowboy. Market tells us that Touchdown, who's been in blistering form, is going to be mighty hard to beat here, into $1.60 now. Cintalante at $6 an each way hope here. And then Albanian I Am at $15 has had a little bit of backing there late anyway. It was easy early doors, but it's had some backing today. What do you make of this race here, Mitchy Lewis?
Yeah, look, Touchdown G, he's flying, he's pretty short. Having a look at how he finished last start, 1,800 metres, should be no issue. I think he'll relish it, if anything. So leaning his way, he's probably short enough to back up at this trip, but I'll have him one out in the quaddie. I thought Cintalante next, third up, rising in trip suit, same for Fee or Not, and then Lady Potato Head might not surprise, but needs to see out a strong trip. So I was 3, 2, 4, 7, Touchdown, one out in the quaddie.
So 3, 2, 4 and 7 your numbers there. And then we go to the last race, the 3 Dane on tour, 6, 7, 9 and 11 also come out. So 3, 6, 7, 9 and 11 come out of the last race. Could be a big day for the Price and Kent Junior camp. I should say Graham Beek prepares Empire of Pain. It could be a big day for Ethan Brown. It's been well supported into $2.30. Farrah's Glory at $4.80, on Broadway at $5. Niners at $7, and then the stablemate Tempranillo is a $7 chance, and then we go out to Sun Gift at $10 here. What do you make of the last here, Mitchy?
Yeah, Empire of Pain looks the 1G, solid in a similar race last start. Hard to jump off him. He's going to get a good map again. Just the price of the scratchings make it a little bit tough. So, look, I've lent his way. I thought the 4 on Broadway, probably the main danger from the 8 Pharaoh's Glory, who looks your likely leader, and the 5 Sun Gift first up. She's not a known first up performer.
So 1, 4, 8 and 5, your numbers there in race 8. What about your best bets, mate?
Yep, so race 3, number 2, Chakudo is going to be the best bet. Next best bet, race 5, number 2, Pick and Mix, and the each way or slightly better value, race 6, number 6, Untapped.
So race 3, number 2, race 5, number 2, Picks and Mix, and then race 6, number 6, each way all day, Untapped. And your quaddie numbers, which kick off in race 5?
Yep, we're going to go 1, 2, 6, 8 in the first G, despite having a best bet there. We just want to get through.
Yep.
We'll fill up in the next leg. We're going to go 6, 8, 9, 11, 12. Try and cover a few there to get us through to the next leg, Touchdown, 1 out. And then hopefully we've got some value and we're going to come home big again. We'll go 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 10. So all of them except Fine Rebel into the quaddie.
So
$120 for a full unit.
So 1, 2, 6, 8 first leg. And then you go 6, 8, 9, 11, 12 second leg, 3, 1 out in the third leg, and then you come home with 1, 2, 5, 4, 8 and 10 in that final leg, Mitchy. What about, thanks to Betsy's, your tips at Balaclava today?
Yes, let me just bring them up. Sorry, G. So we mentioned the best bet yesterday was See You Later Now in the last. It's come up an okay price, I think, there. Race 7, number 4, See You Later Baby, I should say. Second up and suited. I think that's going to be ideal. And then one I found out of the trials, G, race 2, number 6 would be the next one, Breakfast.
So race 7, number 4, race 2, number 6, your plays there at Balaclava.
Correct.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Thanks, mate.
There's
Have a good
Mitchy
day. Good luck, everyone.
Mickey Gatton joins us for his preview of Warwick Farm. G'day, Mick.
G'day, G. How you going?
Good, thank you, mate. What are we doing from a punting perspective?
Yeah, interesting little card here. I think Ice Cool will be hard to beat in the first, so I was looking to get involved early, but the best bet of the day will kick off in race 2. Horse number 11, Pink Persuasion, was pretty good on debut. They're up at Newcastle. Pretty good form race, that. Rosa Encanter, Erno, who we'll probably see go to a listed race on Saturday, come through that race. And she was then good again, second up. Back to 12.50 that time. Now gets to 1,400 metres. And I think well suited here from a good draw. Waller scratched a few of his, and Pink Persuasion race 2, number 11 should be too good for them there. G, I'll take you to race 6. Horse number 13, Tequila Baby, was exceptional last time in good time. Mares 64 grade. It's a little harder now, up in grade, but very winnable race. Barrier 1, brace not claim. Ticks plenty of boxes there. Should be jump, lead, win. If there's a horse to beat it, you're getting around $7. Remember Jack, I think it's a clear 2-horse race. You probably back them both for your quaddies. I'm backing them both to win the same amount, G. I think it's an easy way to finish the day. The 13, Tequila Baby, and we'll have something on the 14, Remember Jack, as well.
So race 2, number 11, then a 2-horse plain race 6, 13 and 14.
Easy as that.
Good on you, Mickey Gunner. Thanks for that, mate.
Look forward to the weekend preview on Friday, G.
Yes, previewing, of course, a Sunday meeting now in Sydney. Just going to be a long wait for our Macca's weekend preview, top full multi.
I'm gonna make sure mine's in the last race on the Sunday.
Good on you, mate. Thanks for that.
See you, brother.
Dean Watling joins us for his best at Warwick Farm today. Hello to you, Dino.
Good morning, G. How are you?
Good, thank you. Take it away with your plays, please.
Well, number 1 seed from last week on trial time, Ice Cool, goes around in race 1 and number 2 there, G. It's short enough now. It's been well backed into $1.90 around that price, but I think we'll be back it now. We'll be fine because it might drift, and we'll get the drift odds protector there. So race 1, number 2, Ice Cool is a bet for us, G. I thought race 4, number 4, Miss Hades, gets every possible chance here. It's a dry deck. I think this race lacks speed completely, and she comes out of a nice enough first up effort there at Newcastle behind Maid of Muller and Ruby Serve. They went around in the last there on the weekend and didn't do that form line any disjustice. So we moved to race 4, number 4, Miss Hades, and we round out the program. I just heard Gano, he's quite keen on the favourite Tequila Baby. I'm going to take it on. I think it had every possible chance last start in a leader biased Canterbury track. The 3, Living Thing, comes out of our trial time black book, trying out really well. Sam Clipperton's back in the saddle. He's hungry for his first winner, G. And from gate 2, I think Living Thing can position up leaders back and say Wooshka in the straight. So they're the 3 for me today at Warwick Farm.
Love your confidence, Dino. Good luck.
Thanks, mate.
There's Betsy's Dean Watling. Check out racingqueensland.com.au for where Queensland is racing today. We're at Ipswich on a Wednesday afternoon. Chris Nelson joins us. G'day, Chriso.
Good morning, Gareth. Yes, we are. We have 10 races at Ipswich.
Yes.
We will get underway on a soft 5, and I'd suggest we'll get an upgrade during the day.
Beautiful. Where do we start with your plays?
Race 3, one I mentioned yesterday, number 9, Meet George. I think he's a good each-way bet here. He drops in class, he drops in distance, and importantly, he drops in weight. He carried 60 kilos at Eagle Farm in a Saturday grade last time out, and he wasn't disgraced. He carried 57.5 in a Saturday grade at Doomben, 2-back. And he wasn't disgraced there either. Here he is with 54 kilos freshened up. So I think he can run a race each way. Race 3, number 9, Meet George. Now, race 4, I don't see a lot of chances in this race. Yeah. Number 7, Carpaccio resumes. Market-wise, there hasn't been any great money, but it hasn't been a drifter either. He's been steady, and I like that because I think he's the best horse in this race. He's quite consistent. He's only won 1 of 14, but he's been really far from the action. I liked his recent trial. He has won first up. And as I said, this stable are a betting stable, the Barry Lockwood and Emma Jane Vincent stable. So if there's money there, and I think he'll remain pretty solid, I think he's very hard to beat. That's race 4, horse number 7, Carpaccio. And I'm pretty keen on this one. I didn't mention yesterday. I thought we'd keep it under wraps until today, Gareth. Race 6, number 2, Cutie Pie, who should have won at Eagle Farm last start. Just couldn't get a crack at them along the inside until late. And when she did, she hit the line well. She carried 59 there. She'll carry 56 from gate 1 today. And I think she'll be winning. That's race 6, I think it was. Yeah, race 6, number 2, Cutie Pie.
Bring on Ipswich. Thanks for that, Chriso.
Thanks, Gareth. Cheers.
And you can check out racingqueensland.com.au for where Queensland is racing today. Tune into Racing WA TV on 7plus and racing.com. It's your ultimate destination for everything racing in the West. Riley Morgan's good enough to join us here on a Wednesday to go through his best bets. Maybe a quaddie there at Belmont this afternoon for that 7-race program. Hello to you, Riley.
Good morning, Gareth. How are you?
Good, thank you. How's this Belmont meeting looking like in your eyes?
Pretty competitive little meeting, Gareth. I think there are a couple of races we can certainly get involved in on the program, and there are a couple of nice horses going around today, which I'm looking forward to.
All right, mate. Where do we start with your place?
I've been on one early, Gareth, in race 2 on the program. A first starter for Tiana Noski. Her stable is absolutely airborne at the moment, and Ballora Star has given the indication to me that he's a horse with genuine ability from what we've seen from him at the trials. Jared Noske has ridden him in all three of those public appearances, so fair to say Gareth wouldn't have been the lightest of trial riders, fair to say, given he's not exactly riding much at the moment. And I think in that most recent trial, if he'd been shaken up, he travelled like he was going to go straight past Malolo. In that most recent trial, who he meets on debut here this afternoon, he looks a pretty sharp type. He's shown plenty of early speed in those trials as well. So thinking he can hold a strong position, which is pretty important over the 1,000 metres at that shoot start at Belmont Park. He can hold a position in the first half of the field, and I think he looks pretty talented, Ballora Star. So pretty keen on the first starter in race 2, number 10, for an informed yard.
So that's around 260 with Bet365. What else have you got for us?
Race 5, backing one each way. Race 5, number 4 in Hey Pino for Raquel Williams. He's a horse that arguably I think should have won a Saturday by now, and he's got some really nice form on the board from last preparation. So the fact that he does resume in a Class 3 today with a winnable weight does look to be really good placement here for mine. He actually tried up against the favourite, or trialled in the same heat with the favourite in Mount Shirataku, and I thought he tried better than he did. And you look at the price discrepancy at the moment, one's at $2.70 at the head of the market, and the others at around that $6.50 quotes. I think that's certainly the value in the race. Might just need an ounce of luck from a potentially tricky little barrier, but he's a horse I've got plenty of time for, and I think he'll be winning a lot more races for Raquel Williams. So at that price, so it's easy for me to make Hey Pino an each-way play in race 5.
Anything else for us?
I do like a couple more, Gareth. I'll be quick with these. Race 6, number 3, Salty Miss. I think she's a Saturday type for that same trainer I've spoken about already in Tiana Noske. I thought she was terrific last start in conditions that certainly weren't suiting where she settled. I think she's worth an each-way bet as well in race 6. And in the last, I think we're going home with Pike and True Blue Bondi. Taking offset that barrier. I thought he was an enormous run on return, given he was on speed in a race where the horses on speed just went far too quickly in front and they all compounded. So I think if he can find a position 3 wide with a bit of cover in that moving line from that barrier, the True Blue Bondi looks very hard to beat in the last, race 7, number 3.
The backed Hit's a beast to win that last race.
He's a progressive enough type of a horse. He's going to have to do a bit of work, I think, to get across from that barrier that he's drawn, Gareth. But he's certainly trending in the right way. It's a beast. He's a big, raw animal, but he's certainly getting better with racing, and Brian Kersley's doing a good job with him at the moment.
What an impressive duel rate last time she won.
It was a good win. It was a slowly run race, and I do think that she's going to be better suited over further. She gives the indication that she's going to be a genuine middle distance, even staying type of a mare from what we've seen from her. So I was thinking maybe she might just be a little bit more dour second up, given she was so big first up, but she's certainly in with a chance. And Tash Faithful's got a really good book there today as well.
She could be
opportunities.
Yeah, she could be the play for the Jockeys Challenge at a price to take on Pike.
Certainly could be. She can certainly hold her own there today, I think, Gareth. It's not a bad little pickup from you, I don't think.
Keep dominating, mate. Thanks for that. We appreciate your time as always.
Thanks, G. Good to chat. Always a pleasure.
There's Riley Morgan there. He does a wonderful job there, especially he's going to be joining us on SEN Turf and SEN Track, but for Racing WA TV. And you can tune into Racing WA TV on 7plus and racing.com for your ultimate destination for everything racing in the West. Now we've got Darren Carroll's tips at Mildura and Bendigo. Head to thetrots.com.au for expert harness racing tips and in-depth analysis. Mildura, race 4, number 8, Earl of Pembroke, and race 5, number 2, What Are You Up, Tar? And at Bendigo, race 1, number 9, Enola. Harness Racing New South Wales, the home of the Carnival of Cups, where Australian music royalty meets quality harness racing action. Amanda Rando likes race 3, number 1, Let Us Go Mickey. Race 4, number 2, Pastor Chevelle, and race 5, number 7, Follow the Eclipse. So race 3, number 1, race 4, number 2, race 5, number 7. And Brett Honey at Cannington tonight, like race 5, number 7, Ori 8 each way, and race 8, number 2, Clifton Jasper. So race 5, number 7, race 8, number 2. Time for a break on the other side of it. We've got to have another announcement regarding a driver for the Ultimate Drivers Championship, which is a slot race for the drivers in the sport of harness racing, held each and every year at Albion Park in February. And we've got an announcement with one of the slot holders that has a pretty exciting driver that they're going to be announcing, who will be heading, of course, to Brisbane next year.
Plenty of racing awaits this season. Find it all at mrc.racing.com.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back. It was a huge success this year, and it's first ever running of the Ultimate Driver Championship, where you saw drivers from around the world, some of the best drivers in the world, come to Albion Park for 2 nights for this Ultimate Drivers Championship. And Summit Bloodstock was part of that. They're in most of the big slot races, not just in harness racing, but a few other codes as well. And Jamie Durberger Smith, who is the boss of Summit Bloodstock, joins us now because he's about to announce their driver for next year for the Ladbrokes Ultimate Driver Championship. Jamie, thanks for joining us on Giddy Up.
Hey, Gareth. Thanks for having me on, mate. Super excited.
Who have you announced, mate? Which driver have you been able to get for this championship?
So after the World Drivers' Championships in New Zealand and knowing James McDonald for probably about 15 years, we contacted him and we thought he would be the best fit for the job, give us our best winning chance. So he's our driver.
That is exciting. So he's the world's best. He's not James McDonald, the jockey, but he's James McDonald, of course, the driver based in Canada. So how did you get him, mate? Because obviously coming back to Australasia twice within 6 months wouldn't be easy for him.
Yeah, as I said, we've known each other for a long time. We talk a lot, so it was quite easy to get him to come along. Nice free holiday, win himself some money. So him and his missus are going to jump on the bird and they're going to fly over and hopefully we can take out the title. Had to give Gary Hall Jr. a bit of a run for his money again this year. So.
Yeah. Well, Gary Hall Jr. finished second behind Angus Garrard and who was the inaugural winner of this Ultimate Drivers' Championship. And last year, I had so much fun. Some of the world's best drivers arrived here, and you need a little bit of luck, but tactics play a major part as well, picking the right horses. But I guess what's in James McDonald's favour is that he's proven that he can come and drive different horses and have immediate success like he did in New Zealand for that World Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, he's a great driver. He's very versatile. Like you said, he can drive any style of horse. He's driven many of them, so that helps him a lot. And with the racing up in North America, it's totally different down here.
Yeah.
But, he's adapted very well, so we thought he'd be the best fit.
So will he be out here for how long?
So he'll be here just before the picking of the horses. In the snake draw. So he'll be here for about 8 days or so. So that'll give him nice time to be able to acclimatise to the racing. And we'll see if we can get him some steers before it starts.
Geez, it's exciting, isn't it, when you get to see the world's best drivers. I think Luke McCarthy's been announced. You've got drivers like Cameron Hart will be here. Gary Hall Jr. will come back as well. Unfortunately, Tim Dietrich isn't making his way to Australia this year, but hopefully we'll get him the year after. It's going to be some series. Yeah,
it's this series. I likened it to the Harold Park days when it was absolutely packed when we were younger. It's just unbelievable. The atmosphere is crazy good.
Yeah.
And I love it when all the drivers are going through the parade ring and they're going on the track and everyone's giving them driver advice and the drivers are giving it back to the crowd. Oh, it's just, it's sensational. The atmosphere was unbelievable.
Who did you have last year, Jamie?
So we had YG, the Green Hornet, Yannick Gingras.
Yes.
We didn't have a whole lot of luck.
No.
We maybe were a little bit too aggressive on our drivers' tactics.
Yeah.
Hence, Angus, he's been driving Albion Park for a long time, so he played it quite cool and took a lot of smart, short routes along the fence, and that got him the win. I think Robbie Morris is in this year as well. He's the king of doing that down at Menangle. They just keep looking right, and he only ever looks left, and he wins a lot of races doing it. So I guess tactic-wise, we might have to change it up this year to try to be more point-orientated.
Don't do that. It'll be boring. It'll be boring. We've got to get their egos out of control.
Wait a second. You're going to have, I think, Pete McMullen and Junior in there. There's your aggression right there. So.
Is Pete McMullen coming back? I know that Trista Dixon's got a slot as well. So, it will be exciting. So, looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's a great concept and we've got to get behind it because harness racing needs this innovation and we're definitely going to be a part of it for all the years to come. Well
said, Jamie. We don't wish you too much luck, but we wish you enough luck where you can finish second this year.
No, that'll be Gary Hall Jr.
Yeah.
He's a woman's dream.
Good on you, Jamie. Thanks for that.
See you, mate.
There's Jamie Dernberger-Smith. We'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk greyhounds here with the weekly chase. Georgie Ferrugia and Jason Adams to join me.
Hello there, making SEN News headlines. Tickets are now on sale for AFL Club members for next year's Gather Round in South Australia. General admission seats available tomorrow. Surprise from the Reserve Bank Governor over higher than expected inflation. The RBA will hold its last board meeting of the year next week, where rates are widely tipped to remain on hold. Tributes for England cricket icon Robin Smith after his death at the age of 62. And Australia's top doctors are raising the alarm over shocking tanning misinformation spreading amongst the nation's teenagers. Up next, sen.com.au sport. The Matildas have beaten New Zealand 2-0 in their second friendly in Adelaide. Hayley Rezzo scoring one of the goals, telling 10 it's been a perfect hit out ahead of next year's Asian Cup.
Feels really good. I love playing for Australia. It's my happy place and I feel like I thrive here. So, I'm delighted to get those goals, but even happier to get the win leading into the Asian Cup.
Plenty of racing awaits this season. Find it all at mrc.racing.com.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Time for the Weekly Chase with Jason Adams and George Ferrugia.
Time to talk some greyhounds with the Weekly Chase. Let's welcome in the team. Jason Adams, hello to you.
Hello to you, G. It was a memorable night on Saturday. We're sort of winding down now, but crowd was good, weather was great, turnover's pretty strong, so another good edition of the Melbourne Cup up our sleeve.
And Georgie Ferrugia, hello to you.
Hello, G-Man, how are you?
I am very well. It was a terrific story, wasn't it? Well done for finishing third in a Melbourne Cup, yes. Georgie.
Yeah, that was good. It was good, but you're right about the story. I think this dog, Jace, has always had the ability, but he had to stand up when it counted, and he certainly did that.
That's Kenya Mayhem, of course.
Yeah, it is, the Melbourne Cup winner. And it's one thing to say that he's fast enough. It's another with class, but you sort of can't mark him harshly when it comes to class, given the lack of experience, really. So he stood up when it mattered. We all know the pre-race build-up had the lights be turned off, so it's not always easy to turn up and produce your best after that, but he was able to do that. And once he led, it was game over, really. I mean, Dashing Slay threatened, but for the numbers that Kenya Mayhem was setting, it's just so hard.
If you pause the tape, guys, down the back, like as they were near the catching pen, would you have money on Dashing Slay?
I was home. I was counting the cash. I said, Dashing Slay can't get beat from here.
Did you back her?
Yeah, I did, didn't you? Listen to me last week.
Yes.
I was all over her.
I just don't remember.
Yeah, I was all over her and just like, I couldn't, everything that we wanted it to happen if you back Dashing Slay, it worked perfectly.
Yeah.
Like got across, was within striking distance as they swung for down the back, and the winner's gone career best.
So I think I bring that point up because I think it adds to the win of Kenya Mayhem.
Yeah.
Because you've got a dog like, Dashing Slay, who's certainly not weak to the line. Her last 50 probably wasn't the best she's ever produced, Dashing Slay. She seemed to be all out, and Kenya Mayhem was too good. And as you said, 2 weeks in a row running around the 29.15 mark for Kenya Mayhem. Jess Hopkins becomes the 10th female trainer, I think, is it?
Something like that, yeah.
It's an amazing stat. I didn't know that I thought there'd be less than that, but...
Yeah, Andrea Daly would have been
a few,
So
Shona Thompson won.
Yeah,
Judy Haley.
Yeah, Judy Haley for sure. So, great night, Gareth. We've seen some really, really good racing, and we spoke about Miss Envy. What about that run, Jason?
The second fastest run ever over 595 metres. So, look, she'd always probably felt like she was destined to race over that distance, but To see her do it on the big stage and in the emphatic style which she did was just unreal.
Just back to the Melbourne Cup. Did the winner have a little bit of like a whiskey ride about it that took the most of an opportunity when it was in form and had an inside box and obviously was there at the right time? But in saying that, Jess Hopkins has prepared this greyhound to perfection, really, to get it to perform at its best when it mattered most.
Yeah, look, box draws are obviously important, but there's no fluke in what he did, that greyhound. He's obviously been a very, very fast greyhound for a long time, and you got to have a shout out to the sire, Bernardo, who's now produced back-to-back winners, obviously with Explicit and now Kenya Mayhem. So he's certainly kicking goals.
And as well, like, he's limited on experience. He's only had 19 starts now. So, I mean, I think we loosely spoke about it in the past couple of weeks, that this profile that the honour roll proves in terms of that bracket of which you need to be to win a Melbourne Cup. Generally, you need to be a male greyhound in between 2 and 2.5 years of age, and he fits that bracket. And he's just hitting his straps, and I think this is certainly not the last we're going to see of him at this level.
Miss Envy's the new Miata, the way she went there the other day.
Well, her run home was 10.64, which is incredible, and you would think, I'm suggesting that they would stay for the Sale Cup. I mean, she would have to, if she handles Sale, she would have an absolute mortgage on that race.
Yeah, well, I think Steve Shinners, her trainer, local trainer over in WA, has real confidence that she'll run out 700 metres at some point. So the expectation is she will go towards the Sale Cup. And, I mean, the way she hit the line, as you say, George, over 600 metres, there is no reason to think the Sale Cup is right up her alley. And I think she's firmed in slightly for the Sale Cup since that win on Saturday.
Just to give you a guide, Gareth, we've had stayers that always looked like they were going to run 700, get home in around 1075, 1080 over the 600. For her to go 1064 is massive. Now, you can't, often people say you can't burn the candle at both ends if she's going to be a front-running stayer, but I think Sale is definitely, I reckon a lot of people would be scared to take her on, to be honest. Like, I mean, if she's fit and sound with the way she ran, she's going to be very, very hard to beat.
Over the sprint trip, say at Sandown, she goes low fives, doesn't she, sometimes?
Yeah. She went 5:01, I think, in the Melbourne Cup heat, and she's broken 29 seconds there. So her two PBs combined at Sandown and over 500 and 600 metres, there'd be no dog ever to have a combined time like her over 500 and 600 metres. It's incredible.
She could win the Bold Trees and Melbourne Cup in the one night.
Yeah, well, I heard James Vandermart and Michael Tice talking on the Green Light On podcast, because obviously we'll speak about the Phoenix soon, but there's a pool of nominations that determine the reserves, and then the reserves have a match race on Phoenix night. And they're coming up with the suggestion that imagine seeing Miss Envy take on Without a Trace in a match race, and then the versatility. I mean, you could pick your own distance, whether it's 500, 600 or 700. It'd be a good contest either way.
Well, if you were to roll the dice, it has to be over 600, that race, wouldn't it? That would be perfect.
Existed.
Let's meet halfway, and it would be one for
Miss
the ages.
Envy would give her Without a Trace Winburn, wouldn't she?
Oh, based on Saturday night's performance, yes. In isolation.
Over 600, I'd be on Miss Envy. Yeah.
She win by 3 or 4.
And Without a Trace is a special dog.
Yeah, and she was too good in the Bold Trees Without a Trace.
She was. Just set it up at the start, didn't she, Jason? Began beautifully. I thought she was going to turn the tide, and she did exactly that. And again, that flat spot down the back where I was standing next to someone who was on Aiden's Warrior, and they were getting confident down the back, but she was never going to get beat.
No, she turned the tables, you're right, because it was the deciding factor last week when Aiden's Warrior led her.
Yep.
And with dogs as fast as what he is, not that he's a freak, but it's one thing to catch him, it's another to get past. So she eliminated that going straight to the front. And I couldn't help, George, but be reminded, and we're going back a few years now, Fernando Bale in a semi-final of the Maturity, where he was rolled by Secret Spell. He come out in the final, absolutely belted him. So for Without a Trace to have that status and promise of which we all think she has, to turn the tables in the style of which she did was just so good. And I think, again, underlines that she is the best stayer in the country.
Oh,
easily.
no doubt. Two Group 1s in the last couple of months. It's been incredible. Ethanol Water, we haven't heard an official announcement, but it's seemingly that she's retired now. So, they're going to have to take the mantle off her, Gareth. And at this stage, it doesn't look like anyone's willing.
What about a Sale Cup for Without a Trace? Is that something?
Oh, absolutely. So we might get
Does it make her vulnerable?
No, she might handle Sale really well. Can you imagine that for a Sale Cup final? the Sale Greyhound Racing Club would lick their lips at a Miss Envy versus Without a Trace Sale Cup final.
Bring
That'd
it
be
on.
Perfect.
The
Yeah.
heats aren't, 3 weeks away, basically, aren't
Yeah, they've moved the final to after the new year. It used to be on Boxing Day, but I think
so
it's
I think they still
early
have
January.
a meeting on Boxing Day, but I think the heats are
are
the
on.
meeting following that, and then early January is the final.
11:39, we'll take a break. We'll talk about the Phoenix next.
Plenty of racing awaits this season. Find it all at mrc.racing.com.
Join the conversation. Text us on 0499 736 736. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Off the back, Kenya Mayhem. After it was Dashing Slay. Trying hard was Valenzuela. Kenya Mayhem in front. Dashing Slay's trying to come to the outside, but Kenya Mayhem won the Melbourne Cup. Kenya Mayhem won it and beat Dashing Slay.
Kenya Mayhem wins the Melbourne Cup. I'm looking at the Phoenix market now. Columbia Jack is at $4, Mallee Beauty at $5, Slick Split $6, Accredited $6.50. All of Gain starts. Ariza Sparkles $8.50. I can't find Kenya Mayhem in the market. We'll have to get that with Bet365. There's Kenya All Class at $51. Hey, can you text the Bet365 team and get Kenya Mayhem in the Phoenix field? Because surely the Melbourne Cup winner has to get into a Phoenix. As I go to you, Jason Adams.
Yeah, well, all the slot holders have up until early Friday morning to determine who their representative will be. So the mail is, and I don't want to break any news or speak out of school, but I'd say it's likely he gets a run. So We'll hold our breath and see what plays out today. But I would be surprised if he's not lining up in the Phoenix.
So there's 3 slots left, is that right?
Yeah.
Who are the slot holders still to...
Awesome Lodge.
Yes, which is Jason Thompson.
David Burke Constructions.
Yes.
And Total Container Solutions.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, this year more than any, guys, has been more like an AFL draft in where you sort of sit and the shuffling that's going on.
Yeah.
And I tell you, the difference maker here, Gareth, is when Slick Splits became available after injury again.
Yeah.
It looked like it was a shoulder injury, but it was an elbow, and he healed up really well. And I think it's safe to say that there were a couple of slot holders looking at Slick Splits. So where he landed, I think opened up a gap somewhere else. Gareth, shout out to Connections and Mallee Beauty. I was speaking to Jace off air about this. Time and time again, for Phoenix, Top Gun, you see interstate greyhounds coming here, having one trial at the Meadows and thinking that's good enough to win a race like that.
Yes.
Now, it's not impossible. Wow did it to win a Tem Lee.
The Queenslanders have done well. Remember, they have a trial at Meadows and everyone goes, what the hell are they doing here?
Yeah, but my point
they
is
always
that,
run third.
And I'm not bagging Cumbria Jack here because he's had some injury concerns and his trial last week was phenomenal. But I think what they have done with Mallee Beauty is take away the interstate factor here. She's raced here for nearly 8 weeks. She's almost Victorian now. She's had a look at both city tracks. I think they couldn't give her a better preparation for this race. Same with Ariza Sparkles, Jay. She's been racing here for a little while. Time and time again, the Victorians come to the fore because they've had more than just a trial at the Meadows. It's so important in a race like this.
Yeah, it is, and even travelling. And you're right in the case of Mallee Beauty because Angle Park was her home deck. I mean, she was a flat track bully there for a period of time until she went interstate, whereas you say a lot of her racing in the past month has been down in Victoria. So I 100% agree. It's got to count for something, not only racing down here, but against the opposition of which she faces. So we know she didn't get it all right in the Top Gun. She missed an opportunity there, but all things being equal, given the format of which the Phoenix box draw takes place, she's going to be drawn suitably.
And let's be honest, the Top Gun was never her grand final. I mean, in terms of prize money, it's Melbourne Cup, it's Phoenix. So if she came here, stayed in Adelaide and bashed their brains in for 6 weeks and then came here and raced in the Phoenix, she probably still would have got a slot. I'd lay her all day. But the way she has come here and prepared has been fantastic. Now, in saying that, I cannot wait to see Cumbria Jack race in Victoria. Like, his trial was fantastic, but he's no lay-down misère in this race. Because of the preparation.
Is he the best dog in the country?
I think he's the fastest dog in the country. There's no doubt. I think he can sharpen up those first 2 splits, Gareth, even. I think he could go 29-30 at the Meadows.
So who are the other slot I was going to choose? Who's Thompson choosing?
Well, I think he's the only one where people don't know. So
Tim Zoo?
It's probably unlikely. No. It's probably unlikely that he will select a greyhound outside of his own kennel. That's just my gut feel.
Mate, why would you?
Yeah. So the one he's put wraps on most has been your boy, Gareth. Traumatised. So
why not?
I mean, he'd probably be favourite, but there's no information out there that's legitimate as to which.
With
way
us
they're
having
going.
a throw at the stumps, it's Traumatised or Zipper on Time, isn't it? Would they be the two?
Yeah. There's that other one that's got real high speed. What's her name? She's an absolute rocket, but 500 metres is really testing for her. Tara White-Therese.
Yeah, who won the heels.
She's another one you'd possibly consider if you do have that high importance of leading the race, but she's going to be under the pump late, so we'll see.
Is there a chance he might buy Liddell and then see if he can train it for the Phoenix?
Probably not. I've just got breaking news.
Yes.
Should we keep breaking news on this
100%.
story?
Do you know what? I'm going to take a break.
Done.
And then we'll come back with the breaking news, George. Is it big?
Yeah, it's a Phoenix announcement.
All right, then we'll take a break. We'll come back with a big Phoenix announcement next.
0499 736 736. This is Giddy Up with Gareth Hall.
Welcome back to Giddy Up. We've got some big breaking news in the sport of greyhound racing for the weekly chase. Who's going to break it? Jason Adams, you're the news breaker
Well,
here.
we debated before about whether Kenya Mayhem's going to get a start in the Phoenix. It has been announced in the last 10 minutes that Total Container Solutions have signed him on. So he'll be flying the flag. The Melbourne Cup winner for Total Container Solutions, who last year had Hector Fawley. Was it last year?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Might have been the year before. Year before. But they've been a big part of these slot races, whether it be the Phoenix over here or whether it be the Sandgroper in WA. So they'll be looking forward to getting stuck into it.
Great people in that syndicate, including my favourite, Linda Britton. She's in that syndicate, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yes. Hey,
can train too.
My mail is, and the whispers that I'm hearing.
Oh, okay.
And money doesn't lie. The other slot for the Burt camp, Deadly Avenger.
Is that what you're hearing?
Well, I'm not hearing this, but the money tells me that it could be because they're backing Deadly Avenger. Why are they backing it? It's being firmed in the market anyway.
Eye-catching run on Melbourne Cup night.
Yeah.
Got to the line really well. Jace, what was his run home again? Pretty good, under 10:40,
Yeah,
wasn't
it was 10:37, I think it was.
So, yeah, look, very, very good PB at the Meadows. So that would give them some confidence if that's the way to go. And Awesome Lodge would be the last slot, Gareth.
Yeah,
so,
I reckon. I try to get on
If it all
to
plays out
Jason
that way.
Thompson there. And I don't know, Jason could have shown her as his voicemail. Unbelievable. So I thought, well,
He's seen you coming,
yeah,
mate.
he just completely brushed me. But surely traumatise our dog gets the slot.
Oh, so box draw dependent, that dog in a race like the Phoenix. So now with Kenya Mayhem, where's the early speed, Jace? Kenya Mayhem, obviously Mally Beauty. Can you throw Slick Splits in that group or just a rung below?
Nah, I think you can. When he gets it right, he goes 5-0s, no worries. But what's going to be really...
Rise of Sparkles too.
Yeah,
sorry.
Rise of Sparkles. What's going to be interesting here, Gareth, is we know the Phoenix box draw is different to other ones where the greyhound's name gets drawn out and then their slot holder or representative, whoever it might be, walks up to the stage and selects their draw. So we've got a few greyhounds here, Mally Beauty, Slick Splits, you could argue accredited, that do want to be to the mid to wide part of the track, particularly Mally Beauty. So we're going to see a real interesting situation when we get to Sunday and what decisions are made early.
Could this be the first time that someone draws first and doesn't go for the red?
Yeah, absolutely. If it's Mally Beauty, there is no way in the world they are taking an inside draw.
Well, the rest of the field don't want her to take it either, let's be honest. I mean,
Why?
Well, because she shifts off the track on that first corner and she's going to cause all sorts of trouble.
What would you choose? 6?
Do you go 4 or 5? Yeah.
Why don't you choose one, hope she jumps and she knocks everyone out?
Well,
we saw on the top show, one in the Top Gun.
Who was that Aussie dog that Thompson had that did it and won him a lot of races doing
Aussie
that?
Secret.
Aussie Secret.
Was it him?
Yeah, he had
was
box
mad
one
for
in the
his.
Melbourne Cup.
And like he just takes half the field out.
They were so worried. I think Koblenz was in that Melbourne Cup, but Koblenz jumped too well.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
Who are you backing right now with Bet365 for the Phoenix?
I'm a huge Slick Splits fan.
Yeah.
And his trial at the Meadows was very, very good on Monday. So he would be one that I would have a look at. I think if he lobs next to Mally Beauty, I think he can beat her. He and Mally Beauty are certainly on my radar.
Any winners tonight?
I've got 2 at Sandown tomorrow if you want them.
Yes.
Race 8, number 4, Paul Quimby. I thought was a good run behind Passmark last week, Jace. I thought it stuck on really nice, and I think it certainly is in an easier race. And in the last race, race 12, number 5, Ivory Narwhal, was a good winner at Bendigo last starting. Good time, showed good speed, solid record here.
Who wins the Hobart 1000? Young Star $6. Appenzel's the favourite $5.50. 5 heats there tomorrow.
I hardly know all these dogs.
Yeah.
What price is Matlock?
$11. That'll do.
That's got to be a good price.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's the Matlock of old. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Good on you, Georgie.
You too, mate. See you soon.
Next year, I want you to go 2 better, not good enough placings in a Melbourne Cup.
We're going to get a Phoenix slot next year.
Yeah, we are. We are getting a Phoenix slot. I've got a few big names that are going to go in this Phoenix
What
slot
are we
with
in
me.
for? 5K? What's happening
We'll
here?
get 20 people 5K. Yeah, we'll love it. You can come in too, Jace.
Get the sack.
I'm Amy Drew with SEN News. Tasmania's upper house is starting debate today on whether Hobart's proposed AFL stadium should be built. At least 8 of the 15 members of the Legislative Council will need to vote in favour of the project for it to be approved, and it's looking likely that a yes verdict will prevail, as key independent Beck Thomas